Testing 1 2, testing 1 2, testing 1 2. It's the Southern Ohio Copperheads and the Grand Lake Mariners here in Salina at Montgomery Field. The Copperheads coming in with an 11-14 record. The Grand Lake Mariners coming in with a record of 12-15. So we'll see if these two rivals can end up having another great game. And welcome everybody to the broadcast booth. As my name is Sedric Granger, I'm joined today by Ethan Sargeant. And Ethan, we've seen some really great games for the Copperheads as of recently, as they are on a 4-game win streak.
Yeah, it's been awesome. Obviously, I was on the call last night as we saw something we haven't seen before in, I think, the Great Lakes Summer Collegiate League, at least this season for the Copperheads, and that was a sudden death finish. They won at home last night, finishing the sweep. They won 1-1. I know it sounds a little bit weird for those of you at home. Maybe you didn't tune in last night. The Copperheads won in that sudden death. You get a coin flip to decide who goes on either offense or defense. If the defense holds to no runs, they win. If the offense gets a run, they win. Copperheads went on defense. Adam Beery, who had already pitched extremely well, pitched his third shutout inning, and the Copperheads were able to get the win in sudden death. So now here on the road against the Grand Lake Mariners, and as you said, 4 in a row now for the Copperheads. This is the time to get hot. This is the time. It's the playoff push. You know, they've had their ups and downs this season, Southern Ohio Copperheads, but they are in a spot right now where they have games against teams that they can gain games on, and they could climb up those standings, Cedric.
They most certainly can, Ethan, but the Copperheads, it's easier said than done, as last time they were here in Grand Lake and Salina, Ohio, it was the game they wanted to forget. And it's a game we wanted to forget here in the broadcast booth as well, to be frank, as it was over 100 degrees that day, and none of our technology worked at all. So hopefully this game we can be able to get a nice smooth broadcast for you, as the pitcher on the mound for the Grand Lake Mariners is Braden Goulet out of Findlay, and he's going to be going against the top of the order, Carson Shepard, as we see the first pitch up high for ball number 1. So the count is 1-0 to Carson Shepard, who's batting .246 on the year, really coming on as of lately as well. And we'll kind of go through the rest of the batting order after this pitch. The 1-0 is down low, but it hits the edge of the strike zone, it looked like. Actually, nope, that is a ball, so it's a 2-0 count now to Shepard. And Ethan, you want to run through the Copperheads batting order?
Yeah, let's do it, Cedric. So we've got Carson Shepard here batting leadoff. Then we got Clayton Hodges second, Kyle Ratliff in third, red hot right now. Josh Steidle batting cleanup, Maverick Stallings in the 5 spot, Mitch Klass batting 6th, Trey Rucker batting 7th, Sebastian Silva batting 8th, and Jordan Long batting 9th.
Now we see a deep drive into the left field wall for Carson Shepard. He's going to try to slide into second base, and it is a standing double. We didn't even know Carson Shepard had that power. Wow.
That was a bomb, Cedric, and that's the start that the Copperheads need. That is the exact sort of start that you need on offense, especially after last night, where while they did get the win, the offense struggled for large portions of that game. They got a run in the second inning and then went quiet for the rest of the game. Now, Carson Shepard gets it off to pretty much the perfect offensive start, and it slides on in there. Doesn't even need to slide on in there. Gets a standing double.
So this will bring on Clayton Hodges, who was from Jacksonville University, batting .235, 7 RBIs. He's going to hit a ground ball out to shortstop. The play is going to be fielded, and they're going to tag him at third base. And they're going to say he's safe. Carson Shepard came sliding into third base, and it looked like Voorhees was there for the tag. It looked like there was no doubt about it, but the Copperheads get a call going their way, as even it's been very rare to be on a good side of a call this season, but it looks like the Copperheads take advantage.
That was interesting, Cedric, even early on in this one, and I think they're going to go umpires, or I think the coach for the Mariners is going to go have an ask right here. Coach Perez has gone out there and had an inquiry, and it's definitely one that we up here all thought that was pretty much a formality of an out there at third base. Shepard kind of got caught in two minds, was kind of halfway between second and third as the ground ball came in from Hodges. But it looks like the decision has been made, and now you bring up Kyle Ratliff, and it's an early, powerful offensive start. Runners on the corners with no outs for a guy we know who has a boatload of power.
So Hodges advances to first. You have Carson Shepard on third in a scoreless game in the top of the first inning, 0-0. And Kyle Ratliff, as you heard from Ethan, is up going against Goulet, the pitcher, for the first pitch. It's going to be a deep drive into center field. Sam Seeker does make the catch. There's the tag by Carson Shepard. Carson Shepard going home, and he's saved. So early 1-0 lead for the Southern Ohio Copperheads off of Kyle Ratliff's sacrifice fly. And the Copperheads having a good start. Now, Ethan, one thing that the Copperheads have to worry about, though, is the last time they played against the Mariners, they did go up 1-0 to start the game, and the leadoff batter was Trey Rucker that time. He got all the way around the plate. But unfortunately, the Copperheads didn't score again after that. So we'll see if the Copperheads can not only get the first run of the day, but keep going.
You know, but this is the exact start that you need if you're the Copperheads. You love getting that good offensive energy right off the bat, and getting a run in the first 3 batters is pretty much just exactly the script you write if you're TJ Lanning, especially after last night's offensive futility. And now you bring up another guy to the plate who can mash baseballs, and Josh Steidel.
Josh Steidel up to the plate, Jacksonville University, batting .284 on the season, driven in 13 RBIs, and took the first pitch for a ball. So with 1 runner on, we see the pitch, and for ball number 2. So with Clayton Hodges on a very beautiful day this time in Salina, Ohio. It's not 100 degrees like it was the last time, and we're very thankful for that here in the booth. And the runner will go as we see a foul ball. So that'll be another strike. So the count is 1-2. So I mistakenly said 2-1. And Clayton Hodges will scamper back to first in a 1-0 game. The Copperheads took the lead off of a Kyle Ratliff sacrifice fly, scoring Carson Shepard. And that's how the Copperheads are in the lead with 1 out in this 1-0 game in the top of the first inning. Goulet will throw it back to first base as a pickoff attempt.
Goulet's got decent stats coming into this one. He's got a 2.45 ERA so far on the season. Has seen some success earlier in the year against the Copperheads. On the game June 23rd, which was a Copperhead win, he went 2.1 innings, gave up an earned run on it and a hit, but had 4 strikeouts, also issued a couple of walks. So he's seen these guys before, and now he gets the start in this one.
Steidel fouls off the 2-2 backwards for just to keep it at 2-2 rather. And Josh Steidel working with 1 runner on. That's Clayton Hodges. 1 out here at Montgomery Field, Salina, Ohio. And a beautiful day, about 75 degrees. Great day for Copperheads baseball. As the runner will go, Clayton Hodges slides in, and he is safe.
Oof.
Call coming in a little bit late there, as Clayton Hodges kind of held us in suspense a little bit, as we didn't know whether he was going to be safe or out.
He was clinging on by his fingertips there, Sedric. Let me tell you, I mean, if he slides like an inch or 2 farther, I think he slides off the bag.
Yep, it looks like they're going to call interference on Josh Steidel, and that's going to force Clayton Hodges to go back. So they're going to say Steidel was in front of the catcher potentially on the throw, and they're going to say that, are they going to call him out or not? It's going to be an interesting decision here, as umpires today are Ron Black behind home plate and Bob Racklow. So we'll see how that goes. But once again, this is a 1-0 game. It's a 1-0 game here at Montgomery Field. Only score came off of a Kyle Ratliff sacrifice fly, scoring Carson Shepard. And currently we're in a little bit of a debate and discussion here.
Yeah, I think everybody's a little confused. I mean, now Steidel is making his way back out to the dugout, so I guess he's out. Looks like he is, and now that'll bring up Maverick Stallings.
Yep, so he goes down on the interference, apparently. Bring on Maverick Stallings. Maverick Stallings, the shortstop, had one of his first starts here in Salina. He joined the team a little bit later, and he'll take the first pitch and hit that in between the first and second base path. It's going to be fielded and in to first base for the force out to retire the side. So Maverick Stallings goes out on the 4-3 play. And the Copperheads are able to put up 1 run. We'll summarize it for you, especially when we don't have a scoreboard. We'll go over all of that. So Carson Shepard, he doubled to start the game, and he eventually scored off of a sacrifice fly from Ratliff. Then Hodges made it to first base on a single of his own. Kyle Ratliff hit a sac fly. Josh Steidel was out on the interference, and Stallings grounded out. When we come back, it'll be the top of the order, as well as the new pitcher today, Sam Maudsley for the Southern Ohio Copperheads, a.k.a. Big Alaska. He's had a couple of appearances on the season, but we're excited to see him go against Ebling, Seeker, and Voorhees. You're listening to Southern Ohio Copperhead Baseball on YouTube. We're back at Montgomery Field for the start of the bottom of the first inning. The Southern Ohio Copperheads are up 1-0 over the Grand Lake Mariners as both of these two teams are jockeying for position in this playoff race in the GLSEL South. Everybody is very much still alive as the separation between first and last is just a mere 3.5 games. So every game will matter down the stretch, including those crossover games coming up later against the North Division. Copperheads will get the Ice Haulers. Mariners will get the Michigan Monarchs and the Lima Locos. But batting first will be Adam Ebling for the Grand Lake Mariners. And Ebling is batting .276 on the year, driven in 7 RBIs for the man out of Tulane. Sam Maudsley, the pitcher, sets up on the mound for the first pitch, and it's thrown in for a strike. Maudsley been a pretty solid starting pitcher ever since he's arriving on the day of Game 1. And this is his 5th appearance overall. Pitched 3 2/3 innings, 4 earned runs, 6 hits, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts in his last appearance against the Licking County Settlers. So the 1-0 is thrown in, or the 0-1 rather is thrown in for a ball. So now it's 1-1 for Sam Maudsley.
Yeah, it's a good addition. Big Alaska, as they call him, over there in the Copperhead dugout. And he's got a good repertoire there as he
laces 1-2 center field. Kyle Ratliff fields it, and it's going to be a single for Adam Ebling. So leadoff single for Ebling, and that'll bring on Sam Seeker, one of the more talented center fielders in the league, potentially a snub from the All-Star game. Kyle Ratliff, also the center fielder for the Copperheads, another guy who was a snub from being a first-team All-Star, but again, you can only have one player be a first-team All-Star at center fielder, and there's a lot of talented outfielders. But
yeah, we were having this debate before the game. I think both of these guys have an argument to be in over Danny Estrada for the Settlers.
Now we see a pop fly to shortstop. Actually, it's going to go into left field, so a mistake there from the Copperheads, and they're unable to turn anything. Is a little bit of a comedy of errors as they weren't able to track the ball. I think the sun might have got in their way.
Yeah, I don't know if you're on Twitter or anything, but last night Red Sox-Yankees game, you saw the guy in right field. I think it was Alex Verdugo, just going, "What? Where's the ball?" Kind of the same sort of situation there for the Copperheads. Maybe not as comedy-inducing as that one from the Red Sox, but it just kind of blooped over. It's in that little tough spot, that soft spot between the infield and outfield. But the Mariners will take it, and now they respond right back on offense after the Copperheads got something going in the first.
So it'll go down as a pair of singles since the ball did not hit the fielder's glove. The fielder out there was Maverick Stallings. So it's a hit for Seeker, a hit for Ebling. So you have each of them on for Manny Voorhees, the third baseman, who is batting .284 on the year, and the first pitch is thrown for a strike. So 0-1. In a 1-0 game, Copperheads in the lead after scoring in the top of the first inning on a Kyle Ratliff sacrifice fly, scoring Carson Shepard. Now the 0-1 pitch to Voorhees. Maudsley sets, deals the pitch. It's going to be chopped foul backwards for strike number 1.
I like that pitch from Maudsley. You know, Voorhees just saw that pitch come right at him down the middle, and then Maudsley tests him low. And I think Voorhees tries to pull back on it. But, you know, Maudsley, good pitch choice there. We'll see if he can get the strikeout here on the 0-2 as he's deciding with Silva back there. They're having a little bit of a debate.
Maudsley looks back. 0-2 on its way. It's a drive all the way into right field, and it's down for a base hit. This is going to score runners, and it might score 2. As Voorhees is rounding second and stays at second, and 2 runners come in. It's Ebling coming across the plate and Seeker coming across the plate. It's a 2-run RBI double for Voorhees.
Yeah, and that's just pretty much the exact opposite now for what you want for the Copperheads. You know, after the good start on offense, they do get a run, but now 3 straight hits given up there by Maudsley. 2 singles, and now that stand-up double for Manny Voorhees. And now, you know, with no outs, Maudsley already in a little bit of trouble.
So we see a lead change for the first time today as Voorhees puts the Mariners now up 2-1 in the bottom of the first inning over the Copperheads. Maudsley pitches to the next batter, Vonderhaar, and delivers it for ball number 1. So it's a 1-0 count to Vonderhaar as the Copperheads are going to look to try to not have history repeat itself. That was the theme of yesterday's game, where history tended to repeat itself with a beneficial way, as Kyle Ratliff hit a walk-off multiple times, and he's been able to be nicknamed Mr. Walk-Off, courtesy of a lot of the Copperhead staff members up there in the press box. But this is one of those histories where you don't want it to repeat itself, as the Copperheads fell to the Mariners 11-1 after they took the lead 1-0 originally. So it'll be 1-0 pitch to Vonderhaar with one runner on. He chops it backwards, actually flies it backwards, and it falls down harmlessly, and a fan fields it on one hop off of the ground and then throws it back into the field of play and gets a nice little cheer from the crowd in the tent to the right of the press box. But the count will be 1-2 to Vonderhaar with one runner on. That's Voorhees at second base in a 2-1 game in favor of the Grand Lake Mariners.
Now, if you're Sam Maudsley, you have to respond. You know that you got punched in the mouth. You give up 3 hits in a row. You give up the lead early. But now you just got to get that first out. You know, it doesn't matter if it's a fly out, ground out. You just got to find a way to, you know, get an out on the base path, figure something out, and then get settled in, find your groove, and then get to work.
We've seen Maudsley be effective at that, as he gave up multiple home runs to Austin Deering before in a game against the Richmond Jazz, and then he pitched 5 scoreless innings after allowing those. So we've seen Maudsley being able to have rough starts, kind of shaking the rust off, and then being able to put together a really solid start. And we'll see if he can go longer than he did the last time, win about 3 innings against the Settlers, and trying to go for more of a 5, 6, or 7, as we'll see the 2-2 pitch to Vonderhaar. That skips across the ground for a ball, so now the count is 3-2 here at Montgomery Field in Salina, Ohio. Grand Lake Mariners, Southern Ohio Copperheads in a 2-1 game in favor of the Mariners, as both of these two teams are sitting at 6th and 7th in the league. The Copperheads temporarily passed the Mariners until the Mariners finished off their win last night against the Jazz. The 3-2. It's going to be swung on and missed for strikeout number 1. So Sam Maudsley picks up out number 1 of the bottom of the first inning. Copperheads still behind 1-2, but it has to be great for Maudsley to get that first out.
That's exactly how you respond as a pitcher. You know, I was just talking about how you get punched in the mouth proverbially. You know, you get 3 hits in a row, and then that's how you respond. And it was a tough at-bat, a lot of fight in there from Vonderhaar. And now, you know, you get the first out, and that'll let you settle in as, ooh, little jump there.
And now we see a foul ball down the first base side from the new batter, Ty Davis. Ty Davis out of Marietta College, averaging .294 for his batting average. 4 RBIs driven in. Manny
Voorhees kind of like jumped off the bag over there on second base. I think it was seen over there by Maudsley, but no action was taken. I don't think anybody was really aware of what was going on there. It was a little kind of goofy jump, but no harm done.
So with 1 out, the 0-1 pitch will be on its way from Maudsley to Davis, the DH. And the 0-1 is off the mark outside for ball number 1. So it's a 1-1 count as the scoreboard has went out in the game. So we're going to have to do our best to keep score right here, as it looks like it has come back now, fortunately. So with 1 out, we'll see the 1-1 pitch, and it's going to be a deep drive, pop fly high up in the right field. It's going back towards the wall, and it is gone. Davis hits a home run to right field over the head of Trey Rucker. And what a start, what a response by the Grand Lake Mariners. So Voorhees scores as a result. Davis picks up the 2-run homer and gets the pair of RBIs, as it is now a 4-1 game for the Mariners. So right when the Copperheads put up 1 run, the Mariners respond with 4 times that.
Yeah, and I mean, I had just sang Maudsley's praises just there for responding, and then he just kind of hangs one over the plate. And, you know, when you got a guy like Ty Davis who can swing on that, find the plate like he can, you know, it's not a good combination. And now, you know, the Copperheads are working from behind.
Copperheads have had to do that many times this season, but not most recently, as they've had a solid win streak, their longest win streak of the year at 4 games. And now that'll bring on Starrett, as we see the 0-1 pitch outside for ball number 2, or ball number 1. So now it's 1-1 to Benjamin Starrett out of Lakeland Community College, and is from Canada as well. Just like Matthew Nolan is another player from Canada. There's a couple of teams that have players from up north. The 1-1 is skipped across the ground for ball number 2. So now it's 2-1 for Starrett. as the Copperheads are down 1-4 against the Grand Lake Mariners. Mariners putting up a 4 spot so far in the bottom of the first inning, and there's only one out. So the Copperheads are going to have to do what they can to stop the bleeding. Smalley sets on the mound, delivers his pitch, and swung on and missed. Big swing and miss there for strike number 2. So the count is 2-2 to Starrett.
Yeah, and it was three really good pitching performances in a row that the Copperheads had coming into this game. You remember 2 nights ago, Colin Ryan, 11 strikeouts, phenomenal. And then both pitching performances in the doubleheader were really good. The first game, you had a really good pitching performance from Cody Williams. Did the job, did really well, and then you had a couple of guys, Daniel Walter, no hits, and then Adam Beery comes in and just locks it down for the Copperheads. 3 scoreless innings of really good work from him as well.
Maudsley tried to throw out the curveball there a little bit, but it did miss outside, so now the count is 3-2 with 1 out, nobody on in a 4-1 game in favor of the Mariners in the bottom of the first. As we see a swing and miss, drop third strike, Silva picks up the ball, delivers it to Class at first base for out number 2, 2 down.
And again, that's another good response from Maudsley. You got to be able to take one on the chin again. But if you're the Copperheads, you'd rather not take too many on the chin here in the first inning, and that's a couple haymakers that the Grand Lake Mariners have thrown the Copperheads' way, and they've connected.
Now here comes Carson Clark at Wright State University, who hits one into center field, shallow center field. It goes down for a base hit. So single for Clark on the first pitch. That is the 5th hit of the inning for the Mariners, as their bats have been hot. In the last matchup, the Mariners came into the game with the lowest batting average in the league, and they're showing that they can really get it done on the bats when given time.
Absolutely. We've seen power. We've seen some good, defensive hitting from the Mariners, and we've seen, some moonshots like the one we saw from Ty Davis just a few minutes ago.
So the big right-handed pitcher, Maudsley, delivers a strike to Jacob Danneman out of Hanover College. Danneman's playing shortstop today, and he'll look to get on base with 1 runner on in this 4-1 game in favor of the Mariners in the bottom of the first inning. We're just getting started, as we've already seen more runs scored in this game than almost what we saw as the runner goes, and is he safe? He is. So Clark advances to second on the stolen base, as they are able to catch the fielding of the Copperheads napping. So count is 1-1.
Good jump.
Danneman.
Good jump there from Carson Clark. I think it's a solid throw from Silva. Good tag applied by Carson Shepard as well over there. But when you get that good of a jump, sometimes it's almost impossible. It doesn't matter how good the catcher is to throw him out.
The 1-1. Right on the money this time for a strike, as Maudsley has a chance to potentially get out of this inning. But to my earlier point, we've seen more scoring here than we've had in each of at least the last game that we played, that 1-1 sudden death pitchers duel. And we're just in inning number 1. With 1 runner on in this 4-1 game, the 1-2 pitch swung on and missed for strike number 3. So Maudsley picks up 3 strikeouts, but also gives up 5 hits, as the Mariners put up 4 runs in the bottom of the first. So the Copperheads will be playing from behind when we go into the top of the second inning. It'll be Mitch Class, Trey Rucker, Sebastian Silva, all due up for the Copperheads, the 6, 7, and 8 batters. And we'll see if the Copperheads can respond. You're listening to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. It's the top of the second inning here at Montgomery Field. The Copperheads are down 1-4 to the Grand Lake Mariners as the Copperheads have won 4 straight. Mariners also coming off of a win, and both of these two teams will look to try to continue their winning ways. As we'll see the first pitch here to Mitch Class. Goulet still on the mound, delivers the pitch, and it's outside for ball number 1.
And now the onus is on the Copperheads to respond after, getting that early lead. And then the Mariners were able to put together a rally there in the first, put up a 4 spot. But, the damage was in the end limited by Sammy Maudsley. A couple of strikeouts and sandwiched a base hit from Carson Clark. And he was able to get out of the inning. But now Copperheads have to battle back. We'll see if they can do it.
The 1-1 is off the mark inside for a ball. So it's 2-1 to Mitch Class. Mitch Class got some playing time as well, and one of those players that's gotten to run around the first base. And we've seen Stido on first base, also Bam Thomas at first base as the 2-1 is off the mark. So now the count is 3-1 to Mitch Class, who he's really known in this lineup here for being able to force high pitch counts. And when you have teams that don't have a lot of depth like the Mariners, that could be to their advantage. As you see a drive laced into shortstop, and the catch is made. Good work from Danneman, not even hesitating on that one.
Yeah, unfortunate there for Mitch Class. He got good contact right kind of where you want it, but pretty much the only spot where he wouldn't have had a base hit there, straight at Danneman, the shortstop. But not great luck there for the Copperheads.
Yep, so Class flies out to shortstop, and that'll bring on Trey Rucker, who announced his transfer today from Arizona State to a different school, as count is 1-0 for Trey Rucker. So it was definitely a big deal. He posted on his Instagram about his different school. He's going to San Jacques Gators, San Jacinto College. So looking for some, wish him a lot of luck there at the new school. And the count is now 2-0 to Trey Rucker. So we'll have to make some adjustments to our little stat sheet here as there's a deep drive into center field, going back towards the wall. Sam Seeker jumps, and did he make the catch? No, it bounced off of his glove, and that's down for a double. So Trey Rucker almost goes over the wall. He's had multiple occasions where it's been just close to a home run. And for a scared second, Ethan, I thought Sam Seeker robbed it.
Oh, he almost made one of the best plays I've ever seen with my own eyes. He got up, and I think he gets his glove on it too, and he just can't quite come up with it. It bounced out of his glove right behind him, and Rucker was able to kind of even just jog on in for 2. Maybe if he's sprinting, might have been able to take 3, but would have been very risky.
Yeah, Trey Rucker looked for his first home run of the season. He's had multiple occasions where he's been close as Silva takes the first pitch for a strike. So Sebastian Silva out of VMI, it will be the hot dog hitter today for the Grand Lake Mariners. So they have a couple of fans here. A lot of them are in the tent out of our sight line, as with 1 out in the inning, 1 runner on. Silva pop flies it up into right field, shallow right field to be exact, and the catch is made from Ebling. So now that's 2 down in the inning, getting a big cheer from the dugout. We're sitting right above the dugout of the Mariners, so we can hear a lot of the gnat sound, and we can hear pretty much all the chirping that's going on down there. And that'll bring on the next batter, Jordan Long, out of Huber Heights, Ohio, Wayne High School. Getting back into the lineup today, and he'll look to bring Trey Rucker home. As the last time the Copperheads were on the road, he was able to pick up an RBI against the Cincinnati Steam, and he'll take the first pitch for a ball.
Yeah, well, once again, the Copperheads may not be able. This was their big problem yesterday is they did have a couple opportunities where, a walk here, a hit there. They were able to get some opportunities on the base paths, but they weren't able to take advantage and bring home runs. So here is another opportunity to just chip away at this Mariner lead. Long, with a base hit. Rucker's a fast guy, one of the faster guys on this Copperhead team. Might be able to bring him home.
Count is 1-1 to Jordan Long as Trey Rucker goes, and it's fouled off, it looked like.
Yeah, Rucker got a great jump there. Really, really solid jump. Was pretty much 3/4 of the way to the bag by the time the ball even got to the batter's box.
So Goulet pitching into his second inning of work here in the top of the second. It's a 4-1 lead for the Mariners with 1 runner on for the Copperheads. Jordan Long up to bat, and the 1-2 pitch hips across the ground for ball number 2. So it's 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the top of the second inning. Copperheads looking to not have a repeat of history against the Mariners. The last time they were on this field, it was an 11-1 loss, but they've also won a lot of great games at Bob Wren Stadium as the 2-2 is fouled backwards for keep it at 2-2.
Yeah, you could tell every time we talk to Copperhead players after the game, you could tell that they feed off of that energy at Bob Wren, off the crowd, especially last night and the night before that when we had phenomenal crowds. And, you know, one of the biggest parts of being like a baseball player is being able to adapt to every environment.
The 2-2 is outside for ball number 3, so now the count is 3-2 to number 7, Jordan Long. With 1 runner on, Copperheads trying to stay alive in this inning and not leave runners on bases. Goulet thinking just opposite. He pitches a 3-2, and it swung on and missed. He got him swinging as he delivered a low pitch, and Jordan Long went after it. And that retires the side for the Copperheads. So Copperheads had a couple of tough luck there. And when we come back, it'll be Montagna, Ebling, and Seeker for the Mariners as they're going to look to try to increase their 4-1 lead when we go into the bottom of the second. You're listening to Southern Ohio Copperhead Baseball on YouTube. Copperheads and Grand Lake Mariners are having a battle here at Montgomery Field. The Copperheads are down 1-4 against the Grand Lake Mariners. And now number 4-1, Sam Maudsley, is going to try to bounce back from a rougher first inning. We'll see if he can get it together as he had a trio of strikeouts, which is very solid. But the bad was giving up the 5 hits. But we've seen Maudsley, like I said before, had a rough start against the Jazz and then turned it into a wonderful start. So we'll see if that sort of trend continues to go again. We're starting to see those trends with certain pitchers, like how Cody Williams gives up a lot of hits, but he also does not give up a lot of runs. As we see the first pitch to Montagna thrown in for a ball. Montagna, player that helped the Copperheads win a little bit as he had some dropped plays at first base, which really benefited the Copperheads in their win earlier this season, 6-2 win. As they had a stretch where they lost 1 of 10 as they see a pop fly into shallow right field, and it's caught by Carson Shepard for out number 1.
Yeah, Montagna's really struggled at the plate, and it continues there. Just a .053 average and no RBIs for him on the year. So really struggling at the plate. But now you bring up the top of that order that did a lot of the damage in that first inning. How will Maudsley respond after giving up all those hits to these guys? How will he bounce back in battle number 2 against a lot of these hitters?
Ebling does have a single on the day. We'll take the first pitch upstairs for ball number 1. So the count is 1-0 with 1 out. It is a 4-1 lead for the Grand Lake Mariners. They put up 4 runs in the bottom of the first. Copperheads put up 1 run in the top of the first with a sacrifice fly by Kyle Ratliff. The 1-0 pitch from Maudsley is right there in the zone for strike number 1. As we see Silva at the catching position, as we've seen a mix of Silva, Steidel, and Friesen throughout the season. More recently, we've seen a lot of Silva, and he's getting another start today.
Yeah, I think that's partially, I do think that Josh Steidel's the best catcher on this roster. And Steidel, of course, started the second game of that doubleheader last night. Silva started the first, so now I think it's some sort of rotation going on where Silva is also a very capable catcher. We've already seen it a couple times today. He's been very solid behind the plate for the Copperheads as well, especially defensively.
The 1-2 skips across the ground. Silva is able to prevent it from being a pass ball, so now the count is 2-2 to Ebling. In a 4-1 game, Copperheads trailing the Mariners. They're going to try to keep the score at 4-1 so they can be able to try to eat into the deficit a little bit. Obviously, the 2-2 pitch right there off the mark, it says. I mean, our vantage point, Ethan, sometimes you can think it's right there. Sometimes you can think it's outside. Who knows from the way that we're looking at the field. We're not behind the plate, so inside
It is
could be outside.
It is a little harder. I'll say when we're at the Copperhead game behind the box, it's pretty easy to tell. Here, not as easy from our vantage point.
The 3-2 is off the mark, so that's going to be a walk. As from our sort of perspective, it looked like might have been in the strike zone, but again, the umpire is right behind it, probably knows a little bit more accurately, and that'll be a walk for Ebling. So Ebling gets the first on the walk, and that'll bring on Sam Seeker. Sam Seeker, the last time he was up, he had a single, and he'll look to continue his 100% batting average day as he has one runner on, one out in this 4-1 game here in Salina, Ohio. We made a 3-hour journey from Athens to come to this game, as we'll see a shot beamed over to first base. Then they're able to get it out to second base, and that's a double play for the Copperheads. A little bit of back and forth action as Mitch Class fielded the ball, then threw it to Maverick Stallings, who went and covered second base, and then he threw it right back over to Class to complete the double play. So that's how they retired the side. And Ethan, what a play was that?
Beautiful. That's textbook. I mean, very smart baseball over there also, because he doesn't step on first, right? So if you step on first, you eliminate that force, so he's got to make a much tougher tag over there at second. So he could have easily stepped on first, gotten that out. Instead, he flips it over smartly, and then Stallings with a good throw back across the diamond, and Class makes the play, and that is a textbook. I believe, what was it, a
3-4-3.
Yeah, 3-4-3. So I think it was actually Shepard who made the tag over there at second, but still, or made the play at second. But it's just a good play from the Copperheads to get out of the inning. And now they'll look to respond again on offense.
They will. Correction, it was a 3-6-3. Yeah, it was Stallings that went and covered and mistakenly said 3-4-3. But either way, if you're playing scorecard bingo, that's a new one. That's one that you probably wouldn't expect.
Well, yesterday we had the 9-5 double play, the strike him out, throw him out, where Steidl gunned the runner over at third base, and I think it was I can't remember who's over there at third last night, but it was a classic 9-5 double play. So we're just stacking up all the double plays over the past couple days.
Most certainly, and we'll stay with you guys for these breaks. The best part about being able to do YouTube Live is you have the opportunity to choose whether you want to take commercial breaks or not. We were talking to Lucas Moore, who came into town for the workshop as well as alumni night, and he was a former broadcaster for the Southern Ohio Copperheads, and he was telling us back in those days with the radio station, they'd have to go to commercial breaks, and you'd probably have about 3 seconds to get off the air. But in this case, we definitely have a little bit more.
It's very structured down there at the radio station. You got to coordinate with your guys in the station, and it can be a little hectic. But here, we have a little bit of freedom. We can breathe.
So we made it to the top of the third inning here at Montgomery Field, and we see the first pitch to Carson Shepard for a ball, as Carson Shepard had a double to start the game, which was one of his best hits so far of the season, showing he's got a little bit of power, as this ballpark is significantly smaller than Bob Wren. And we'll see the 1-0 go too low for ball number 2. So now it's 2-0 to Carson Shepard in this 4-1 game. Copperheads scored the first run and then allowed 4 straight. But they did put it together in the second inning as well to make sure that no other runners scored and keep it at 4-1 to give the Copperheads bats a chance to make something happen, as the count is quickly 3-0 to Carson Shepard. Goulet still on the mound. The left-handed pitcher delivers the pitch, and it looks like it is outside. So 4 pitches, 4 balls, and that is a walk for Carson Shepard.
Yeah, now you get into that meat of that Copperheads lineup when, yesterday when me and Tim were on the broadcast, we were talking about how that kind of 2-3-4 hitters are always the most dangerous, especially when you have guys like Ratliff and Steidl in the lineup. Clayton Hodges can hit too. He's up to bat next. And, if Hodges can get on base, it's this kind of the same sort of thing where you bring up Kyle Ratliff, and he was able to get that RBI in the first inning with his sacrifice fly. They can get another hit here, can bring him up again.
Yeah, Clayton Hodges, he was batting over 400 going into yesterday's game over the last 7 days, and he's going to lace one out into left field. It's going to be fielded on 3 hops by the left fielder. Both runners advance. Nice single there from Clayton Hodges.
Yeah, real crisp piece of hitting there from Clayton Hodges. First pitch, just mashes one straight over, the kind of stereotypical base hit kind of arc, straight in between third base and short. And now you bring up this guy who has had his fair share of big hits, his fair share of monster jams, and he could tie this game up with one swing of the bat.
Ethan, you foreshadowed it. It's Kyle Ratliff who has a sacrifice fly, already driving in 1 run on the day, trying to make it 2, maybe make it 3 as he fouls off the first pitch for strike number 1. In this 4-1 game with 2 runners on, nobody out in the top of the 3rd inning, the Copperheads looking to try to win this series against the Mariners 4-1. They already have won the season series, at least in terms of tiebreaker, but it always benefits to have 4 out of 5 as opposed to just 3 out of 5 when you can make it happen. As we see a deep drive, it's a left center field. It's going back towards the wall, and it looks like it bounces off of the wall. Oh, no, it's a catch! Sam Seeker! Oh, my gosh, what a catch. But there's a tag. There's a runner that comes in, and is another sac fly from Carson Shepard, as it looks like there'll be a bit of a debate.
Oof. That's a play and a half right there. I mean, so much happened. Ratliff, really good piece of hitting. Again, he's desperately lucky. We've talked about Sam Seeker a few times over there in center field. This time he does make the play. It was a tough play over there in center. He stretched. He's got those big, long arms. He stretched. He made the play. And really, really, really good base running by Carson Shepard. He's heads up as soon as that ball is caught. He is moving around, rounded third, and it's heads up base running to get a run for the Copperheads.
He really rallied to get there. And now Josh Steidel fouls it directly out to the dugout right below us, and you get some nice yells there from the Mariners. But, yeah, great work from the Coppers. They're only down 4-2 now after yet another sacrifice fly by Kyle Ratliff. It looked like it had a chance to go over the wall, but Seeker's been robbing a couple of home runs. The Copperheads maybe could have arguably had 2 of them. Kyle Ratliff should have had 1. Rucker should have had 1. Sam Seeker prevented both of them in some way, whether it was keeping it in play on a catch where he bought his glove over the wall to try to get the ball down. He wasn't able to make the catch, but kept it in the field of play. And then that last time, we saw him absolutely rob Kyle Ratliff. And it was an amazing catch. Clayton Hodges is going to go from his first base position. He slides in. He's safe on the stolen base. Clayton Hodges picking it up, and he's into second base for the Copperheads.
Smooth slide there, Sedric, from my friend Clayton Hodges. He gets right on in there and just pops right back up, kind of looking like Trey Turner over there on second base.
Clayton Hodges with the stolen base. He's on second. Carson Shepard came around on a sacrifice fly from Ratliff, and now we see a pop fly up in the air for Josh Steidel on the 2-1 pitch, and it's going to go out of play for strike number 2.
One thing I do miss about being on the road is hearing Trevor Stevens' sound effects on foul balls. I do miss those, the dings and the ow.
Of course, I love it up there in the press box. And Trevor Stevens, he always makes it a great time. He is the heart and soul of the Copperheads. As Steidel gets a deep drive into center field. Seeker is there. No tag. 2 down in the inning.
Yeah, good decision there from Hodges. I think Seeker's got a solid arm. We've seen it a couple of times, and it's not deep enough to really think about tagging up. And with 2 outs now, you stay on second base and a base hit. You're moving around third. You're trying to get that run, and already a successful inning for the Copperheads getting a run. But now Maverick Stallings will do his best to try and tack on some more.
Maverick Stallings with a ground out on the day. And Goulet still on the mound. Hodges on second as we see the first pitch off the mark for ball number 1. So the count is 1-0 to Stallings. As an interesting thing, Ethan, is that over these last 3 games, 2 of them had situations where there have been clone plays to score batters. And it's been last time we saw Aldridge score twice against the Xenia Scouts in game 1 of the doubleheader as the 1-0 is thrown for a strike. So now the count is 1-1. But Gunnar Aldridge scored on RBI singles in the first inning and third inning from Josh Steidel, who picked up the RBI singles. So again, and now we see 2 sacrifice flies by Kyle Ratliff, both scoring Carson Shepard each time, as now we see a pop fly into the infield. And it looks like the call will be made by Daneman, and he does make the catch to retire the side. But now before the Copperheads could eat into the lead just a little bit, as Carson Shepard was able to come in on the RBI sac fly from Kyle Ratliff. And the Copperheads will look to keep the Mariners at 4 when we go into the bottom of the third inning. Is sometimes you can even get a little bit of confusion with all these games that we played, Ethan. What team are we playing now? It'll become a lot easier for us after we get past the 14th, as the Copperheads will only play either the Settlers or the Ice Haulers from that point on.
That'll be a fun series, a fun few games against the Settlers, a team we haven't seen yet from the opposite division of the GLSCL. I think it'll probably entail a nice trip up to Cedar Point at some point, up in Sandusky. But yeah, it'll be fun to see this team test themselves against a team that they haven't played yet. You know, they're getting real familiar with, teams like the Mariners, the Settlers, the Scouts. They've played them plenty of times now because of how the divisional play works in the GLSCL. But now, they get a chance to test themselves against, if they do end up in the playoffs, who knows who they'll end up playing.
Yeah, it'll definitely be a mystery, but the Copperheads, if they want to make the playoffs, they're going to have to get wins on the road, and it starts here at Grand Lake, here at Montgomery Field. The lake, finally got to see it. Ethan, what do you think of the lake?
It's very nice. It's very nice. Kind of reminds me, I'm from Long Island. It kind of reminds me of the North Shore of Long Island, the Long Island Sound, which, empties out into the Atlantic. Kind of gives me that sort of vibe. But yeah, it's a very nice lake, lots of boats, nice, I'm sure it's a nice summer spot.
It is. I imagine the players for the Grand Lake Mariners get a great opportunity to be able to go out on the lake during their off days, and they definitely deserve some off days given that they had to go on a 9-game road stretch mid-season, which is absolutely brutal. And from what we've heard from Coach Perez in past interviews, past times that we've talked to him, a lot of the times they have kids camps where the players have to wake up and do that, and then they sometimes work out or lift, and then they go to the games, and they have a lot of long road trips, at least to Cincinnati for a majority of their opponents. Athens is 3 hours. As now we're getting ready to start the bottom of the third inning, as the first pitch from Maudsley to Voorhees is upstairs for ball number 1.
Yeah, this is probably, in terms of the Copperhead opponents in their division, this is probably one of the farther ones away. Aside you've got the belt of Cincinnati teams, and the Settlers are a short trip up the road. So this is one of the longer road trips for the team, but they're used to it at this point. You see, the Copperheads are in the groove of, they had the 3 games at home over the past few days to kind of refresh their bodies, be right at an off day, a couple of off days before that as well. So they were ready for this road trip.
See the 2-0 off the mark there, so now the count is 3-0 to Manny Voorhees. Copperheads coming into this game on a 7 out of 8 home stand, where they played 7 of 8 at home. Now they're on a stand where they're going to be playing 4 games on the road, starting here with the Mariners, as we see 4 pitches, 4 balls, and that's a walk for Voorhees, who had a double the last time he was up, picking up a pair of RBIs. And now that brings up Vonderhaar, who had a strikeout the first time that he was up, and he'll look to get his hit number 1 of the day.
And so far, no action in the Copperhead bullpen. Shows the trust that TJ Lanning has in his pitchers to work out of jams, to work things out. Even in that first inning when he really struggled, for 3 hits in his first 3 batters, he trusted Maudsley to get out of that, and he did. And now, he was very good, got the double play ball in the last inning, and, you get the sense that he's settled in a little bit. And we'll see if he can limit the damage here once again and keep the Copperheads in this game.
So the count is 0-1 to Vonderhaar in a 4-2 game. Copperheads trail the Mariners, as they were down 4-1 at one point, and then in the third inning, top of the third, they got to pick up 1 more run to make it a 4-2 game. Shepard scored both of the runs, Ratliff with both of the RBIs on sacrifice flies. And now the count is 0-2, as there was a strike thrown there from Sam Maudsley. So
it's Kyle Ratliff's 21st and 22nd RBI of the year. So once again, just impressive numbers from him. Both center fielders in this game. We've talked about Sam Seeker plenty of times out there making plays. Ratliff, too. They're both really good on both sides of the baseball. And they both, I believe, Sam Seeker, I believe, is an all-star alternate as well, right?
Potentially. I might have to look back again.
He has to be.
I mean, with the way he's playing, the way I've seen him play all season long, he's got to be. We'll bring up that list, and since we go over those all-stars later, as we'll see the 0-2 pitch here to Vonderhaar, as he fouled off one before, and now the 0-2 is thrown for a ball. So the count is 1-2 to Vonderhaar in this 4-2 game. In the bottom of the third inning here in Salina, Ohio, is always a long day for us whenever we kind of come up here. We did some driving, just had our journalism workshop as well. So definitely embracing the grind as well, but always enjoy a good broadcast. As the at-bat there is going to be hit right over to Mitch Class, and he's going to be able to pick up the ball, set up on the bag, and gets up the out. So on the fielder's choice, Voorhees advances to second, Vonderhaar to first.
So Seeker is not an all-star. He's not even on the prospect list, which, in my opinion, I don't know about you, but I feel like that is a little hard done by on him.
I definitely agree. And, again, at least they could have gave him a spot in the scouting, especially this is a guy who's a second-year guy coming to the Grand Lake Mariners. Again, missed opportunity there. I think that's one of the bigger snubs alongside Kyle Ratliff to the starting team. And again, it might come down to which coaches can debate better in the room when they're making those decisions. So with one down in the inning, we see a little pop-up from Ty Davis, and it is fair, and that's going to score a run. So it'll be an RBI single, or will he get trapped in between? It looks like he thought about it. He slides in, and he's out. Ty Davis tried to get a little bit more than he bargained for. He'll pick up the RBI, but he was not content with saying at first he tried to get the second, and he paid the price for it. But still, that will increase the Mariners' lead to 5-2. But Davis will go down on the tag out at first base before he scores.
So a little bit of a mistake there, but Davis is not making any mistakes at the plate. That's 2 well-hit balls. That one, kind of the same as the Seeker hit earlier in the game, where it just kind of blooped right in that kind of soft spot in between, when you've got the left fielder as deep as he is and the third baseman and shortstop setting up where they are. It's with the sun in your eyes, it's hard to make the play. And that one kind of just blooped right into the perfect spot. But, so they get a run, but Ty Davis gets a little bit too greedy at first base.
The 0-1 to Starrett is off the mark for a ball, so the count is 1-1 to Starrett, who has a strikeout swinging back in the first inning. Copperheads now trail 5-2 as they put up 1 run in the third, and now the Mariners put up 1 run in the third. As Maudsley still on the mound, pitching to his 3rd inning of work, and now that ball is going to be laced right over to Maverick Stallings at shortstop, delivers it right out to Mitch Class in time for out number 3. So Mariners are able to get one, just like the Copperheads did in the top of the 3rd. So now going into the 4th inning, it'll be Class, Rucker, and Silva as we'll take a little break here in Salina. You're listening to Southern Ohio Copperheads Baseball on YouTube. It's the Copperheads and the Mariners here at Montgomery Field. Copperheads trail 5-2 here in the top of the 4th inning. And Mitch Class will try to eat into the deficit a little bit as Goulet delivers the first pitch, and it's in for a strike. So the count is now 0-1 for the Copperheads. This game, they started off well with the 1-0 lead, and then bottom of the 1st inning, the Mariners showed that they can have some bats that can be electric. And now we see strike number 2. So the count is 0-2 to Mitch Class, who had a fly out up to shortstop. And Copperheads and Mariners both have seen a few calls go against each other, as we see the foul ball on the 0-2, so the count stays at 0-2. Yeah, there's been some interesting calls, Ethan, and some interesting decisions thus far, but it definitely has not been one that's not been entertaining. I'll say that.
Yeah, definitely been a fully entertaining baseball game. There's a drop strike 3.
Yeah, Mitch Class trying to run to get there. No mistake at first base. It is in time for out number 1. So Mitch Class goes down on strikes on the third strike.
Yeah, it was
bring on Trey Rucker.
It was an interesting first inning for a few reasons. I mean, the Copperheads had some wild errors and interference calls, but they only got 1 run out of it, and then obviously, you know, the 2-run shot from Ty Davis and a couple other, the bases clearing double for Manny Voorhees did the damage.
Trey Rucker flies it up over our dugout for strike number 1. Trey Rucker with a double that should have been a home run, but it got robbed at the last second from Sam Seeker, who couldn't make the play by catching it, but was able to keep the ball in the field of play. The ball was headed over the plane of the wall, and he got his glove up there to bat it down almost like a defensive back. The count is 1-1 to Trey Rucker, as the first pitch was a foul ball. The second pitch was off the mark, and Goulet fires the third pitch, and it's off the mark inside for ball number 2. So the count is 2-1 to Trey Rucker in a 5-2 game led by the Mariners here in the top of the 4th inning. Copperheads trying to win for the first time in Salina this year. The 2-1. Off the mark outside. Count is now 3-1 to number 3, Trey Rucker. Was a top 150 outfielder recruit coming out of high school. And we'll see if he can come through here. The 3-1. He's able to lace it in between shortstop. Wow, Danneman slides to make the play, but Trey Rucker got there. Oh, no, they say Rucker was out. Rucker almost made it to first base, but the play was made as Danneman slid to barely make it, and then he threw it to Vonderhaar, and it was just in time. And Ethan, oh my, I thought he was safe.
That was a close one, Sedric, let me tell you. I mean, from our vantage point up in the box, we have a solid view of it here, and it was, I mean, milliseconds. I mean, if they'd called it safe, I don't really think you could have a complaint if you're the Mariners. That one kind of was just a both ways sort of thing. Good effort down the line from Trey Rucker, and a really heck of a play over there by Danneman at short.
We'll see a swing and a miss there from Silva, and I think a rule of thumb is if somebody makes an insanely good play, I feel like the reffing almost can be on your side a little bit.
Yeah.
And it was an exceptional slide,
especially in baseball. Baseball, you see that a lot.
The 0-1 outside for ball number 1. So the count is 1-1 with 2 outs, nobody on. 5-2 lead for the Grand Lake Mariners as Goulet pitching into his 4th inning here, looking to try to keep the Copperheads at 2 runs. Silva sets up, swings and misses at the 1-1. So now the count is 1-2 with 2 outs in the top of the 4th inning.
He's 57 pitches in, so at a solid pitch count. Typically, these starters usually go around anywhere between 70 to 90 pitches. Usually won't see him go higher than that. So we'll see what, especially with the Mariners in relief, we'll see what they go for later on in this game.
And they got Silva swinging, and Silva was the beer batter. So for the fans here in Salina at Montgomery Field, they're going to get to have some discounted beer for the next 10 minutes as the Copperheads go down 1-2-3 with a strikeout from Class, a ground out for Rucker, and a strikeout for Silva to retire the side. So we come back, it'll be Benjamin Starrett, Clark, and Danneman for the Mariners as they look to extend their lead here at Montgomery Field. You're listening to Southern Ohio Copperheads Baseball on YouTube. It's the bottom of the fourth inning here at Montgomery Field. The Copperheads trail the Mariners 2-5. And it looks like we'll do a little bit of a standings update as things change on a given basis, even.
I mean, as we've been saying throughout this game, things are just on a knife edge in the GLSCL. It is so tight. The Settlers and Joes currently lead with 15 and 12 records. Settlers hot right now, 6 and 4 over their last 10. Then it's Xenia and Cincinnati, both at 14 and 13, so one game back. They're both 6 and 4. Of course, Xenia just dropped 2 in a row. The double sweep over the Copperheads had over them yesterday. Richmond at 13 and 15. And then, of course, the Grand Lake Mariners 12 and 15, and then the Copperheads right there at 11 and 14. Of course, the Copperheads have a few games to make up, so they could make some ground up.
Clark pop fly it out into right field, and it is down for a base hit. So that's a single for Clark, who was the leadoff batter. I mistakenly said Starrett. It was Clark, Daneman, and Montagna, and it looks like they will call him out. I think the catch was made as we have a lot of blind spots in this press box, especially down right field. You cannot see there very, very well. And I know you guys at home can't see you down there very well either, as we're trying our best to at least give you a little snapshot of video, but definitely not a full perspective. So it's one down in the inning, and now we'll see a pop fly over our dugout for strike number 1 for Daneman. Daneman, the shortstop that made that really impressive play back in the top of the fourth inning. Copperheads up or down 5-2 against the Grand Lake Mariners, and we see the 0-1 fouled backwards for strike number 2. So 2 pitches, 2 foul balls for Daneman.
Yeah, and as I was saying earlier, I mean, it's just so tight. I mean, 15 and 12 leads, 11 and 14. You know, the Copperheads have played 25 full games, and the Settlers have played 26. So, I mean, or actually, no, I think my math's wrong. They've played 27. But so let's say the Copperheads win both of those games, 13 and 14, 15 and 12. They're just a couple games back, and you know they're right there. It's really the division is so tight. And I mean the other one, you do have a clear favorite though. The Michigan Monarchs, 18 and 10, 9 and 1 over their last 10 games. So they're the clear probably favorite right now to win the GLSCL title.
The 0-2 is going to be hit right in between shortstop and second base, and out to Kyle Ratliff in center field for a single for Daneman. So right when it was 0-2, he comes with a very timely hit. And with one down in the inning, it'll bring on Montagna, the catcher, who had a fly out to second base the last time he was up, and he'll look for hit number 1, as he'll have 1 runner on, 1 out, and also a 5-2 lead, as Maudsley on the day has a trio of strikeouts, but also 7 hits given up. First pitch to Montagna is outside for a ball, so the count is 1-0. Daneman, the only runner on, he's at first base currently in this game. That's getting to about the halfway point, as both of these two teams sit right next to each other in the standings. They've been right next to each other most of the season, actually.
Maudsley is sitting at 57 pitches. So again, when we talk about pitch counts in the GLSCL, a lot of these pitchers, you know, a lot of these coaches are very careful, and there is a little bit of action in the Copperhead bullpen. That we do have a good vantage of. There is a pitcher up. It's kind of hard to tell who it is over there with numbers and all, but Steidel over there in the catcher gear helping him warm up, even though he's DHing today. It actually looks like, I think we can tell. I think it's Sean Peck over there warming up.
Sean Peck is a player we've got to see a lot as a starter, but I feel he is best as a reliever. So now the count is 3-0, and it's a dropped strike, but it will count as a strike nevertheless. So now the count is 3-1 to Montagna. Copperheads down 2-5 on the road against the Grand Lake Mariners. Copperheads have won 4 straight, trying to make it 5, making it their longest win streak of the season, trying to add to it.
And the benefit of having such good pitching over the last few days is that Coach Lanning has so much of his bullpen at his disposal here. A lot of these guys are, you know, much better at being, you know, much more open to pitching here now. And you've got a lot more options. You can get creative as well, as Montagna is able to work a walk.
So Montagna to first base, Daneman to second base, and that'll bring on the top of the order in the ever so dangerous Ebling, who has a single and a walk on the day.
Yeah, now this is danger for the Copperheads. You got to be careful here because this is how the problem started in the first inning and in the last inning. And the Mariners were able to tack on runs in both of them. Can Maudsley work his way out of a jam this time?
Well, that's one way to start it off with a strike out to the edge of the zone from our vantage point. And you can see we are on the first base side above the dugout of the Mariners. So tough to see the strike zone a little bit. We're really focusing on the umpire for that help as we see a deep drive into center field. It should be no problem for Ratliff. He does make the catch, leaves the runners at second and first, 2 down in the inning.
Yeah, just about. That's pretty much exactly what you want if you're Maudsley, Sammy Maudsley. Big Alaska will be happy with that. A nice little pop out straight to Ratliff and no real even thought of going on the run there from Daneman. And now dangerous hitter here once again in Sam Seeker.
Sam Seeker with a single and a 3-6-3 double play that he hit into. As Maudsley with 2 runners on delivers the first pitch, pop fly, and will it be able to be caught by Silva? Looks like it should stay in the field of play. Silva makes that catch. He reaches his arm out there. Good work from the Copperheads to retire the side without giving up anything. So going into the 5th inning, Copperheads are down 2-5, and they'll look to try to keep working their way back into the game when we come back. You're listening to Southern Ohio Copperheads Baseball on YouTube. It's the top of the 5th inning here at Montgomery Field. Copperheads facing off against the Mariners. As we see the first pitch to Jordan Long is outside for a ball. Copperheads down 5-2. They have 3 hits on the day. Grand Lake with 7. No errors for either team. Goulet delivers the pitch, and it's inside and low for ball number 2 to Jordan Long. Jordan Long had a strikeout in the 2nd inning. The 2-0 for the Mariners. That bounces it back there as Goulet delivered the pitch, and it was fouled off backwards for a strike. So the count is 2-1 to Jordan Long of the Copperheads.
Yeah, 207 average for him on the year to go with 4 RBIs. Trying to work some power into his swing.
Now the 2-1 is thrown in for a strike. So the count is 2-2 to Jordan Long. I want to apologize for any sound differences. We've had that pointed out, and we're trying to work on those adjustments. We have the setup here. First time doing the setup without Tim as well, as he has the day off. So we're working with what we got. It's kind of like the Cincinnati Steam game where when you're on the road sometimes you just got to do what you can do to get some sort of stream out there. You see the 2-2 pitch swung on and missed, it looked like, and they got Jordan Long So strikeout number 4 for Goulet, and he's putting together a pretty solid day.
Yeah, that's 3 strikeouts in his last 4 batters. So he is starting to really find his groove after, a little bit of a hiccup in the first inning and a couple other things. The trouble he's had has been in the top of the order, and here it comes here with Carson Shepard.
Carson Shepard with a pair of runs on the day. The 2 runs the Copperheads have scored have come from Carson Shepard on sacrifice flies by Kyle Ratliff. He has a double and a walk to his name for Carson Shepard. He took the first pitch for a ball from Goulet, and now we'll see the second pitch skip across the ground for ball number 2. So now it's 2-0 to Carson Shepard, who has quite a high on-base percentage.
He got 246 average on the year.
Chopper right over to third base. Are they going to be able to make the play in time? Yes, they do. And that was the third baseman Voorhees throwing it on a rocket to Vonderhaar, and that retires. Actually, that's just out number 1, or out number 2, rather. So said every single thing except out number 2 there, as it's been one of those days. Ethan is working the new broadcast. We did get it going, and last time we were here, we didn't even get a broadcast up because of how crazy it went, where had a 100-degree day.
Yeah, weather's definitely much improved tonight. It should turn into a pretty nice night here as we continue to roll along here.
I'm feeling nice and comfortable out here in the booth with this 70-degree day, as the 1-0 for our first pitch is in for a ball to Clayton Hodges, who has a pair of singles on the day but has not been able to score. And now we see a swing and miss for strike number 1. So with 2 outs in the top of the 5th inning, it is a 5-2 lead for the Grand Lake Mariners against our Southern Ohio Copperheads. Copperheads trying to get win number 12 on the year. Mariners already at 12 wins, looking for win number 13, as we see the 1-1 off the mark for ball number 2.
Hodges is 12 for 51 on the year for a 235 average, and he's got 7 RBIs, and he fouls that one back. It's been interesting for the Copperheads. They haven't really been able to generate a ton of offense in this game, but they're just hanging around. Maudsley is definitely really settled in nicely after that real rough first inning for him. He's been pretty solid, and now it's kind of the onus is flipped back onto the offense. They've got to get some runs here to get back into this game.
They most certainly do. The 2-2 was upstairs, so now we're going to see a full count payoff pitch on its way from Goulet to Hodges with nobody on. Here's the pitch, and it's going to be hit right into right field. Will it go down for a base hit? No. It is in foul territory, so we'll do it again at 3-2. Payoff pitch coming once again in the top of the 5th inning. Copperheads down 2-5 here in Salina. Goulet delivers the pitch, and it's off the mark for ball number 4. Clayton Hodges will walk. So Hodges on first with 2 down in the inning, and that'll bring on Kyle Ratliff, who has a pair of RBIs, both coming from sac flies. So we'll see if he can do it again and drive another runner home.
Yeah, not a guy you want to give an opportunity. We talked about it yesterday when Gunnar Aldridge worked a couple walks, and it brought up Kyle Ratliff. And he didn't have the best night at the plate in his first few at-bats, but then, he got going. And already he's got he's 0 for 2, but they've both brought in RBIs. As Kyle Ratliff is going to swing for the fences and try and hit that ball out of the park. And I think if he were to hit one, I think it would tie the Copperhead record, or at least he'd get one closer. He's inching closer. He's got plenty of games to, I think, get either 1 or 2 more home runs to tie and break the record.
Yep, Kyle Ratliff, he does know that statistic. He said that he's looking to get that record by the end of the season and doesn't want to just tie the record, wants to beat the record of Blaine Krim, the very famous Copperhead, a part of that 2018 team, now playing for the Texas Rangers organization. As we see the 0-1 on its way, off the mark. And that'll make it 1-1. Actually, more accurately, it's 2-1, as we had a pitch there that wasn't registered on the scoreboard, so the count is 2-1 to Kyle Ratliff. Goulet into his 5th inning of work, delivers the 2-1 pitch, and now it's a drive into left center field. It's down for a base hit. Sam Seeker misses the ball, and that's an opportunity for the Copperheads as Hodges is going to come around, and here comes Ratliff. He's going for third. He's sliding, and he is out. but not before the Copperheads could get the run as Kyle Ratliff tried to get to third base. It did retire the side, but Ratliff picks up his third RBI of the day. Still a pretty impressive mark, and now the Copperheads are only down 2 going into the bottom of the 5th. You're listening to Southern Ohio Copperhead Baseball on YouTube. It's the bottom of the 5th inning here at Montgomery Field. The Copperheads only trailing by 2. And the first pitch from the new pitcher, Dylan Herner, is in for a strike to Manny Voorhees. Dylan Herner making his 6th appearance of the year. Last time he played was against the Settlers, where he pitched 2 innings, 2 runs, 2 earned runs, 3 hits, 1 strikeout, and that loss against the Licking County Settlers. As we see the 0-1 skip across the ground for ball number 1. So with nobody on, no outs in the bottom of the 5th inning, Copperheads trail 3-5 on the road at Montgomery Field, one of their farthest opponents in terms of distance they have to go. As you take 33 east, or 33 west, all the way through Columbus and all the way out here to Salina from Athens.
Yeah, so Maudsley exits after 4 innings of work. After that rough first, he was able to cool things down. The final line will come across as 4 innings of work, 7 hits, 5 earned, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts. So, I mean, probably wouldn't have predicted that after that really rough first inning. But you know what? Fair play to the to Big Alaska for cooling things down and keeping the Copperheads in this ball game in the end.
2-2 is outside from Herner, so now it's 3-2. It'll be a payoff pitch coming up to Voorhees. Voorhees with 2 out of the 5 runs today for the Mariners. He has a double and a walk, and then was driven in each of those times that he was on the base paths. The 3-2 from Herner. Swung on and missed for a strikeout as we see some people in the dugout giving Herner a cheer, coming out on fire with 1 strikeout. So 1 runner up, 1 runner down, and that'll bring up Vonderhaar, who had a strikeout, swinging, and hit into a fielder's choice for his day. So 0 for 1 with the fielder's choice. And we see Herner deliver the first pitch in for a strike.
I think there's a little bit of playful banter going on between the dugouts here. I think, you know, there was as Manny Voorhees walked out of the batter's box, there's a big smile walked across his face. Usually don't smile after a strikeout.
The 0 for 1 is chopped in the field of play. Herner decides to opt for the tag, does make the tag on Vonderhaar. So that's 2 runners up, 2 runners down now in the bottom of the 5th inning. Copperheads down 5-3, and the new pitcher Dylan Herner off to a very solid start. So we see a strikeout and then a ground out to 1.
It seems like Luke Vonderhaar did choose the right sport in baseball. Did not make the right move by going to football, because the spin move wasn't phenomenal.
Trying to be Braxton Miller out there against Virginia Tech. Couldn't make it happen. As we see the first pitch off the mark to Davis for a ball. Davis with a home run. It was a 2-run shot back in the first inning. He also had a play where he tried to get to second, and he got greedy, and he paid the price for it. As we see the 1-0 in for a strike, so the count is 1-1 to Davis. As the Copperheads and Mariners built quite a healthy rivalry, as a lot of Copperheads opponents have started to build a healthy rivalry with our team. After playing each other 3, 4, 5 times, it does make sense. Copperheads won that opening night game against the Mariners 5-4 on the Josh Steidel sacrifice fly. Then they lost here in Salina 1-11 in a game that we all forgotten. The third game was on the 23rd, and they beat the Mariners 6-2 to break out of their losing streak. There was a 6-game streak that started with the Mariners and ended with the Mariners for the Copperheads. And then the fourth game of the series was an emphatic 14-3 win on Turn It Gold night, where Kyle Ratliff hit a walk-off grand slam to incite the mercy rule in that occasion. But the count is 3-1 to Davis. Herner on the mound for the Copperheads, your new pitcher, who delivers the pitch outside, and that's ball number 4. So that'll walk Davis. So Mariners do get 1 on in this inning, and now that'll bring on Starrett, who has a strikeout swinging and then an out as well in the third inning. So 0-for-2.
Starrett with a 166.166 average so far on the season. We'll see if he can come up big right here.
Looks like the runner goes. There's going to be a fly up, and what a catch by Carson Shepard. Running to his right, puts his glove up the air, pulls it, and makes the great play to retire the side. So the Copperheads give up nothing for the second consecutive inning, and they'll look to come back in this game, only down 5-3, and have a chance to put together a big inning when we come back in the top of the 6th. You're listening to Southern Ohio Copperhead Baseball on YouTube. We're in the 6th inning here at Montgomery Field. Once again, Sedric Granger joined by even Sargeant today. And we want to give a special thanks to the lovely press box and the lovely people here with the Grand Lake Mariners, giving us a slice of pizza in between the game. And again, with that long drive, we didn't really get that chance to have the opportunity to be able to eat and get a really great meal. We know we get a post-game meal afterwards, but we're very thankful for the nice little bit of a refueling in the top of the 6th inning. Josh Steidel will be leading off here for the Southern Ohio Copperheads. He had a out on an interference, which was a bit of a controversial call earlier, and then a fly out to center field on the day for Josh Steidel. We see a swing and miss on the 1-0 pitch, and now the count is 1-1.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see here. You know, they Ratliff out on the last place, so now you got Josh Steidel, and then you've got kind of the middle of that lineup, which has had, you know, middling success, as the middle of the lineup kind of usually does. As Stallings and Class is coming up. Both of those guys are 0-for-2. And Steidel now, all-star starting catcher, going to look to try and get the rally started for the Copperheads in this inning.
Steidel with 4 home runs, trying to make it 5. The 1-2 hits against Steidel on the back. That probably did not feel good. but he's able to walk it off a little bit, and he will be rewarded first base.
Yeah, that one's going to hurt tomorrow. I'll tell you that. Whenever I see a guy get hit with a baseball, especially if it's not just a, if it's not just kind of like one of those where it just grazes off an elbow or a hand. No, that one was all back, and there's no real padding. There's no real protection. That one will sting tomorrow. So, Josh Steidel, I hope you sleep on your side tonight.
It most certainly will. He could just ask his old teammate Carson Shepard. He's had 8 hit by pitches on the season. Big time ouch there as we'll bring on Maverick Stallings, who has a ground out and a fly out, and he takes the first pitch off the mark for ball number 1. Or maybe they called a timeout a little bit beforehand. Looks like that is the case. So we'll now see the first pitch of the at-bat. Goulet delivers, and it's a laced ball out in the left field, and it goes down for a base hit. It's going to be another single for the Copperheads as Maverick Stallings gets it going. Started 0 for 2. Now he's 1 for 3, adding that hit out to left field.
Well, the middle of the lineup is stepping up. As I just said, they need contributions from other spots in the lineup. When Ratliff just came up, those are the bats you're used to relying on. Now you've got Mitch Class coming to the plate with 2 runners on, and then you've got Rucker and Silva behind him. Rucker's got a bit of power. He was about, a couple feet away from a home run earlier in this one, and I think there's going to be a little bit of a mound meeting here. Goulet currently sitting at, if I do some quick math in my head here, I think 84 pitches through 5.
So we'll see if we see a pitching change.
I think we are going to see a pitching change here if I'm not.
It's been a quality start. Only giving up 3 runs as a starter is pretty solid. That is a winnable performance, but it looks like he will stay in the game as Goulet will try to finish off the 6th inning. Copperheads down 5-3. They have 5 hits on the day to the Mariners 7. Mariners put up most of their runs in the opening inning, putting up 4 of them, and have only had 1 since. Copperheads have been able to slowly chip away ever since the 3rd inning, as they've had 1 run in each of the odd innings, the 3rd inning and the 5th inning. They'll look to break that streak a little bit by getting a run here in the 6th inning. And with 2 runners on, here comes Mitch Class with nobody out. Can he drive somebody home like he did against the Cincinnati Steam? He shows bunt, and it's a good bunt. It goes into the field of play, and he will go out on the fielder's choice. But Mitch Class does his job. 1 down in the inning, but 2 runners in scoring position in Steidel and Stallings.
Yeah, and I was just about to say before Mitch Class laid down a really good bunt, first off. But I really like it when pitchers double down on themselves. We talked to TJ Lanning last night, and he said, you know what? Adam Beery said, I'm ready. I'm going to come out for that last inning, and I'm going to shut it down. We're going to win this baseball game. So, obviously, on the flip side, the Mariners, I like it when pitchers take the initiative, when they respond to their managers, and they're like, you know what, I'm confident in myself. And clearly, Goulet is confident in himself, gets the first out, but he is most certainly not out of the woods yet. Copperheads with runners on 2nd and 3rd. It's Steidel over there on 3rd, and it's Maverick Stallings over there on 2nd base, and Trey Rucker up at the plate.
1-0 to Rucker. Looks like he did not swing. We'll see if they call it. They say he did swing, so it will be 1-1 to Trey Rucker, who has a double and a ground out. The double was so close to being a home run, was robbed away from him as Sam Seeker was just able to keep it in play. The 1-1 swung on and missed on the very low pitch that almost graced across the ground, almost like a bowling ball to its pins. And now the count is 1-2.
Yeah, Rucker is really susceptible to those breaking balls. Saw a couple last night where he looked kind of silly swinging the bat because he got him way out of the zone. So if Rucker's got to be a little bit more patient at the plate, try and find his pitch.
The 1-2, it's going to be chopped foul, so it'll stay alive at 1-2. Copper is trying to make a play off of 1 bounce out in the dugout to no avail. The count stays 1-2 with runner on 3rd, runner on 2nd, 1 out in this 5-3 game in favor of the Grand Lake Mariners. Copperheads trying to steal 1 on the road. They've done so against plenty of opponents in the GLSCL. And then the 1-2 is too high. Good discipline there from Trey Rucker, doing exactly what you were saying, Ethan, and being able to just be a little bit more disciplined up there. Be patient.
That's a good take. High fastball. Solid pitch there from Goulet, and a really, really solid take from Trey Rucker. Being patient, waiting for your pitch.
2-2 on its way. And now it's going to be laced past the third baseman. It's out into the outfield. Will 2 runners score? Stallings coming around, going towards home. No throw's going to make it in time. Rucker slides into second, and that's a 2-run RBI for Trey Rucker. It's a tie ball game here in Salina.
What did I just say, Sedric? Wait for your pitch, and Trey Rucker found his as he gets into second. Beautiful, beautiful piece of hitting there. He must have heard me up here in the box where I said, you know what, wait for your pitch. And he was ready. He takes a really good high fastball, and that was, I think, just a little bit of a hanging breaking ball, and he's able to just lace it right by the third baseman, Voorhees, and good speed from Steidel and Stallings to get in, both of them standing. And we have a tie baseball game, Sedric. These Copperheads do not go down easy.
Not at all. They've been able to turn a 4-0 deficit into a 5-5 tie. Now can the Copperheads take the lead back for the first time since the first inning? We'll see. Trey Rucker is on second. Sebastian Silva is up to bat with 1 out in this 5-5 ball game here at Montgomery Field, home to the Grand Lake Mariners as well as the Salina Bulldogs, the high school team locally here. Grand Lake Mariners in their white jerseys, which is hard to see here as the sun begins to set. Copperheads in their green jerseys with orange accents, gold numbers. And the pitch is high for ball number 1. So the count is 1-1 to Sebastian Silva. Silva with a fly out and a strikeout as well in this top of the 6th inning. Goulet trying to pitch through 6. Delivers the pitch, and it's fouled backwards for strike number 2. Goulet had a chance to potentially leave the game, but he told his coach, hey, we want to keep playing, and I want to finish off this start. It's definitely a big point of pride for any starting pitcher to try to complete an inning if you can, because go ahead and give yourself 5, 6, 7. And when you have a team like the Mariners where you don't have a lot of depth, you're almost forced to have a big start of at least 7 or 8 innings.
Yeah, and the pitch count is just starting to creep up now. That's his 95th pitch of the game. So you'd have to think surely that he is done after this inning, regardless of how he does over these next few batters. But now, I mean, danger is not done here. Sebastian Silva at the plate. Trey Rucker, we know the speed that he possesses over there at second.
Well, certainly does. Will they be able to take the lead for the first time? That's the question with 1 out. 2-2 pitch on its way from Goulet, and it's going to be pop flied into foul territory. And no batter, or no fielder, rather, will able to get that one. So it's 2-2 still for Sebastian Silva. Copperheads were able to tie it up with a 2-run double from Trey Rucker, scoring Steidel and Stallings. And that's how we're at 5-5, as we'll see a little bit of a timeout from Silva. And we'll see some cheering and a little bit of banter from both dugouts, of course, which one of the great things about summer baseball. Also, decent crowd here as well in Salina, as this is a nice Saturday night.
Out nicely. It's good to see. You know, I mean, I think we are a little we're a little biased to the crowds. As Trey Rucker, you can't really see it on the camera, but he's currently plopped down, taking a seat on second base. It's good to see fans get out for summer baseball. You know, it's a fun summer evening. Of course, the Copperheads have just a phenomenal fan experience. But even if you're on the road, if you're let's say you live near Columbus and you're near Heath High School and you could or Denison and you could take in a Settlers game down there. I know they run a great experience. They've got a great broadcast crew as well. Andrew Allison, Cade Williamson, 2 great talented guys. You know, it's great to see summer baseball thriving once again, you know, especially with COVID and all the struggles that it posed. It's good to see that this league is definitely operating at a high level again.
The 2-2 to Silva, and he swings and misses as they'll call it a drop strike 3, and he'll go off to first base, and that's going to be 2 down in the inning. Copperheads still with 1 runner on in this 5-5 ball game. So Silva goes down on strikes, and that'll bring on Jordan Long, who has a pair of strikeouts himself. And it looks like we will see a timeout. This could be the end of the day for Goulet, and it will be. So we'll have a pitching change for the Grand Lake Mariners. So Copperheads able to tie it up 5-5 as we're still in the top of the 6th inning. When we come back, there'll be a new pitcher on the mound for the Grand Lake Mariners. You're listening to Southern Ohio Copperhead Baseball on YouTube. All right, we're back in the top of the 6th inning there. Had to move my microphone down as I was enjoying a nice slice of pizza, courtesy of the Grand Lake Mariners. As Jordan Long chops it off to third base, there's the throw out to Vonderhaar, and that's going to retire the side. But not before the Copperheads could tie up this game. They were down by 4 at one point, and what did they do, Ethan? They kept chipping, and chipping away, and they were able to come back and make it 5-5 going into the bottom of the 6th. Now the pitching will have to continue to be strong from Dylan Herner. We'll see if the Copperheads can be able to go, shut out the Mariners this inning, and take the lead in the 7th. We'll speak it into existence here in the broadcast booth. We'll see if they can do it when we come back. You're listening to Southern Ohio Copperhead Baseball on YouTube. It's the bottom of the 6th inning here at Montgomery Field. The Copperheads and the Salina, or Grand Lake Mariners, representing Salina, are all tied up at 5. The same jersey number as Clark, the leadoff batter here of the inning. And the Copperheads, they were just able to tie it back in that top of the 6th inning. And we'll see if Herner can shut the door and give the Copperheads a chance to take the lead as we see the pitch off the mark. So it is now 2-0. To Clark.
It was a solid inning of work for Herner. 15-pitch inning for him. Or, I apologize, 14-pitch inning. Didn't give up any runs. And there's a ball just outside. That was a close one, though. Copperhead dugout voicing their I think they'd probably voice their opinion regardless of how close it was.
The 3-0, and now it's in for a strike. I think they'll like that call, though, this time. The count is 3-1. For the Southern Ohio Copperheads. We might have to give our guys a chance to get in the crowd and chirp a little bit with the rest of the Bobberin faithful, especially during the hot dog hitter. It always gets fun as the 3-1 is off the mark, so it'll be a walk. So Clark finds himself on first base for the 2nd time today. He got on by a single in the 1st, had a fly out in the 4th, and now is walked in the 6th. And that'll bring on Danneman. Danneman with a strikeout as well as a single that went right down Broadway back in the 4th inning. First pitch bounces off of Silva, and it'll be for a ball. The count is 1-0. Dylan Herner pitching into his 2nd inning in relief of Sam Maudsley, who started off the game with the 4 runs given up, but the rest of the way he only gave up 1 more, leaving the Mariners at 5. Herner trying to put in a good relief effort as we're starting to see some of the same patterns go as certain pitchers are being paired with other pitchers. It seems like Maudsley and Herner seem to be paired together, as well as Jake Jordan, Sean Peck when it comes to these games, as we see the 1-1 off the mark. So the count is 2-1 as we're seeing some breaking ball action from Herner as he likes to mix it up a little bit with a little bit of fastballs, maybe some the changeup every now and again, as well as a fair share of breaking balls as well.
There's a few Copperhead arms up in the bullpen. I could see Joshua Robinson's up over there, number 32. I think I can also see Andrew Yeary over there, number 38, if my eyes don't deceive me, which I don't think they do. I usually trust my eyesight, as that one's popped up.
Yep, popped up into shallow right field. Rucker slides, makes the catch. Trey Rucker with one heck of a catch out there in right field. He had to slide. He lost his hat way back at where he was originally standing at right field. But Ethan, you know it's always a good thing when Trey Rucker loses his hat because you know he's going to make that catch.
It's like, I don't know, but every time that hat falls off, it's a good omen. You know, he makes the play. And, I mean, it kind of broke the curse a little bit on the home run earlier, but he didn't really have a play to make on that one. But that time just slides right on in there and makes a very nice catch. Not an easy one, though, as Silva's a little shaken up after, I think, taking that pitch maybe right into the chest.
Silva's had to show a lot of toughness on the years. Of course, at the catching position, that's a very tough job. Of course, all day long, you're taking 90-mile, 80-mile-per-hour, 70-mile-per-hour heat right to your glove. And then to up the ante a little bit, he's been hit by pitch a few times on the season as well. Did go down on the injury in the Xenia Scouts matchup. Was okay, though, ultimately, thankfully. But nevertheless, it is strike one to Montagna, who has a walk and a flyout. This is his third at-bat of the day in this 5-5 ball game between the Copperheads and the Mariners. With one down in the inning, one runner on. There's the pitch, and it's in for a strike. So now it's 0-2 to Montagna, who struggled at the plate this season.
Yeah, it did draw a walk earlier, but he is 0 for 1. He flied out in the second inning. We'll see what he could do here, down 0-2.
Turner steps off the mound real quick just to check Clark at his first base position. It is a 5-5 game as the beautiful afternoon has turned into an even more beautiful evening as the runner goes. Silva picks it up. It's not going to be in time, as it was just a great jump by Clark, which won the day for them. So now Clark goes to second, but the count is 1-2.
Yeah, it's a great jump. It's also a tough pitch to corral there as a catcher. When the pitcher throws a breaking ball and the runner goes for a steal, it's really hard to dig a ball out of the dirt and bring it up to your right or left hand and chuck it over to second base. So that's a tough play for Silva or any of the best catchers to make.
The 1-2 is a deep drive into center field. Ratliff steps up 5 paces, makes the catch for out number 2. So that's 2 down in the inning. Montagna goes out on the fly out to center field. Danneman went out on the fly out to right field. Clark was walked and then stole second. And that's how we go to the top of the order once again. 4th time up to bat for Ebling. He is 2 for 3 with a single, a walk. Actually, make that 1 for 2 as a single, a fly out, and a walk. Making the little adjustment on the fly as Ebling will take the plate against Dylan Herner with 1 runner on, 2 outs, and a 5-5 game. It skips across the ground for ball number 1. So the count is 1-0 with 2 outs here at Montgomery Field in Salina, Ohio, up towards the northwest portion of the state. It's on the route from Columbus, Ohio to Fort Wayne, Indiana. And it's one of the farthest opponents, at least the farthest opponent north, as we see a deep drive into center field. It's going to be a run for it, and it falls down in between Rucker and Ratliff, and it's going to be a standing RBI double. So just like that, when the Copperheads had their chance to tie up the game, what do the Mariners do? They respond with a run of their own to take the lead right back. Tisket for a tasket. It's a 6-5 game in favor of the Mariners.
That was a good one, Cedric.
Thank you, Ethan. I appreciate it.
The Cedric's always got the, we were talking, me and Tim had a little conversation about it on the broadcast yesterday. Nobody does the puns like Sedric Granger.
Of course, so even the little sayings,
the energy,
too.
The sayings, all of it. As I think the assistant coach now is out of the dugout having a discussion with the umpire. But another great piece of hitting from Adam Ebling. Now he's 2 for 3. A nice little double right there. Just kind of in between, Ratliff and Rucker, really both of them fast in the field, and it just split them in the perfect spot where neither of them were able to get to it. And pretty much probably didn't even need to slide into second. It was a standing double, really. And now more opportunity here for that one was behind Sam Seeker, but again, an opportunity for the Mariners here to potentially tack on a couple more runs here. But as the Copperheads fought back already from 4 down, they're going to have to do it again.
Yep, this time down 1, 6-5 with 2 outs as we see the pitch to Sam Seeker in for a strike. So the count is 1-1 to Seeker, who has a single hit into a double play and then a fly out backwards to Sebastian Silva at catcher. And now he's on for his 4th time at bat with Ebling on second after picking up his RBI double. And now we see a ball laced down the first base side, but it does go just foul. And if it was about 2 inches more inside, it would have been fair.
Almost there. Almost for Sam Seeker.
But it will be strike number 2 for the very talented center fielder.
A little bit of a mixed bag for him today. Had a little bit of some great plays in the field. Also had a fielding error earlier that ended up leading to a Copperhead run on that little bit of a crazy play on that Kyle Ratliff hit. Also at the plate, he grounded into a double play, but also has a single. So a very mixed bag today for Sam Seeker.
Yep, it was a great bit of luck there for the Coppers to have Sam Seeker make a mistake as he swings and misses, but the ball goes past, so it'll count as a foul tip. Looks like he got just a piece of it. Thought he got none of it at first. But now the count is 2-2. It'll remain there with 2 outs. Dylan Herner on the mound with Adam Ebling, the Mariner, on second. He just drove in Clark for the leading run. And now the ball is up high for ball number 3. So we'll see a payoff pitch coming here as we have dusk at the stadium. Count is 3-2 with 2 outs to the Grand Lake Mariners looking for win number 13. Copperheads looking for win number 12. And each looking to submit themselves above each other as there's going to be hit to second base, and it goes by Carson Shepard. And that's going to score another runner as the Copperheads fielding has let them down a little bit here in the 6th. And that's going to score Adam Ebling. So it'll go down as Ebling scoring off of the error. Sam Seeker getting to first on the error, the E4.
Yeah, that's just a backbreaker of an error from Carson Shepard. Usually fairly sure-handed in the field. Had a really nice play in the last inning. But that is a costly error. It's a run-costly error. And now the Copperheads' hole is dug just a little bit deeper.
And now we see Voorhees lace one into left field. And now the ball is dropped again by the left fielder, Hodges. Hodges making a throw out to third base. It bounces off the back of Seeker, and Seeker is safe at third. And now that's a double as a result. Probably will go down as a potential error there, but it seemed like it would have either at least been a first or a single, but tough luck for the Copperheads now. That's 2 straight errors it'll go down as it has officially been scored on an error in the outfield. So we had left field. And Copperheads now down 5-7 with 2 runners in scoring position. And that'll bring on the next batter in Davis.
Jarrett Oakes warming up in the bullpen for the Copperheads. Herner currently at 39 pitches through an inning and 2/3. But he's got runners on second and third here.
So correction on the batter. I have mistakenly said Davis. Got one ahead of myself as we've had so much action. I haven't even been able to keep track with my handy-dandy scorebook here. So Voorhees on second, Seeker on third off of the errors that happened. And now we see the 1-1 pitch up high for ball number 2 to Vonderhaar.
It's all about damage limitation here. You have to get out of this inning with only the 2 runs. A single here could be absolutely backbreaking because it might score. It probably will score 2 runs for the Mariners. Herner got to get his pitches right.
And now he hits the runner. So tough break there too as Vonderhaar is going to get to first as the bases are loaded here for the Grand Lake Mariners. And just when it was a situation where they only had 1 runner on and 2 outs and looked like they were so close to getting out of the inning, now Herner has to deal with loaded bases where we'll go and summarize what has happened so far in this inning. Clark was able to score off of an RBI double from Ebling, which got it started in the inning for the Mariners. And then Sam Seeker was able to get on an error, and then we see Ebling score a run off of the error. So, again, very tough fortunate for the Copperheads as we'll see a pitching change as Herner only gets a few innings, and we'll see number 9, Jared Oakes, come into the game. Herner pitched very well. He should have been able to get out of that inning, but when you have errors behind you, it's only so much you can do.
Yeah, just a little bit of a tough break for Dylan Herner, then to give up the single and hit the guy right after that. a tough break for the guy. He pitched very well. The final line for him is going to be 1.2 innings pitched with 2 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned, 2 walks, and a strikeout. And I believe he's only responsible for the runner on second, not the runner on third because of the error. So the runner on third would be an unearned run. The runner on second would be Dylan Herner's run. And now Jared Oakes steps up to the plate from University of South Carolina Sumter, the South Carolina kid from Crescent High School. 5.14 ERA so far. We'll see if he can do some more damage, as he's got to limit the damage and do some damage to the Mariners lineup here. You'd imagine that he probably gets some more work after this inning, regardless of how he does here. But he is in a big spot, and I think now is a good time to give you the trivia question.
All right, Ethan, what's he got?
So, Tim gave it. If you were listening yesterday, you're going to know this question. It is the same question that Tim asked me yesterday.
Well, Ethan, I know I was busy all last night covering the
Sedric
workshop,
was doing
just like
phenomenal
you.
Workshop PA, doing it all. So, it is right around the All-Star break, so it's a Major League Baseball question. So, Mookie Betts recorded his 19th career multi-home run game out of the leadoff spot, tying which player for most all-time? And I'll give you a few hints.
You give me some options.
He won a couple rings in New York with the Yankees. He played for them in 99 and 2000. Also played for the Cubs. He is from the Dominican Republic, and he played left field and he played second base prominently. Those were his 2 biggest positions. So, give you the question one more time. Don't have to come back to me just yet. But Mookie Betts recorded his 19th career multi-home run game out of the leadoff spot, tying which player for most all time?
There you go. Some pretty good trivia as we're going to get underway. As I'll maybe have some time to think. We'll see as the bases are loaded. And the first pitch from Jared Oakes skips across the ground for ball number 1. Trivia tradition we picked up from Cade Williamson and Andrew Allison with the Settlers booth, which is fantastic. And it's going to help me increase my MLB knowledge as again, that's one of my weaker sports. I just became an MLB fan over the last year and a half, as it's been a bit of a journey here, loving the Baltimore Orioles and Cincinnati Reds.
Baltimore is the hottest team in baseball right now. I think 7 in a row. They won today, swept the Angels aside at home. It was a rocking park last night at Camden Yards. It's good to see good baseball back in Baltimore. Those fans really suffered a lot of long years, a lot of bad baseball. But they're just 3.5 games out of a wild card spot. In that division, with that team, it's very impressive what they've done over there in Baltimore.
Oh, you're telling the truth right here. As Baltimore fans have only been treated well by the Ravens as of lately. And it's great to see the Orioles back in the winning ways. They've drafted really well. They've built up a really great prospect pool. And now they're starting to see it pay off as those guys develop, as it's a 2-2 count to Davis with 3 runners on. Bases loaded here for the Mariners in this 7-5 game in the bottom of the 6th inning. Jared Oakes delivers the pitch, swung on and missed. Big strikeout to close off the inning, leaving 3 stranded. Good work from Jared Oakes coming in the clutch to keep the score only at 7-5. So when we come back, the Southern Ohio Copperheads will take the bats and grab the bats. When we come back, can the Copperheads be able to respond to the 2 runs of the Mariners? You're listening to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. It's the top of the 7th inning as the final chapter of this book between the Copperheads and the Mariners on multiple levels is happening right here in Salina. As we got a new pitcher on the mound, and Nap Schaefer delivers it to Carson Shepard off the mark for ball number 1 here at Montgomery Field. It's a 7-5 deficit for the Copperheads, and they're going to need to come back as it looks like we have a adjustment in pitcher. Again, we're changing pitchers all around here. It might be a spin cycle, so is it not Nap Schaefer now?
It is Timothy Nap Schaefer. He's got a 7.23 ERA out of Ohio Northern University. He was able to get out of the jam in the last inning, got the job done, was able to get the ground out to Jordan Long. Not really a jam, but was able to get the first out after they were able to get the big strikeout on Silva. But now, once again, he's going to have to face the tough part of this Copperhead order, starting with Carson Shepard, and then you've got Hodges, Ratliff, and Steidel waiting behind him. You know, these are the dangerous parts. They've already done a ton of damage. The top of this lineup, really powerful early in this game. Kyle Ratliff, 3 RBIs tonight. What can the guys in front of him get on base to set him up?
That's the question. Is Nap Schaefer pitching to Carson Shepard, the 2-2 pitch? And it's off the mark as there's a new catcher, courtesy of Brady, my friend here from the GLSEL. Always having my back here. Always appreciate our stats people as well as our social media people. I'm talking about you, Skyler. Thank you so much for what you do. As we'll see the payoff pitch out to Shepard, and it's up high. It's going to be a walk for Carson Shepard. Shepard's been able to find a way to get on 3 out of his 4 at-bats.
Yeah, good, really, really tough at-bat there from Carson Shepard. A lot of guys fold and would be swinging at some of those pitches. Not Carson Shepard. He is too smart, and he was all over that one. As the catcher change, coming in at catcher is number 35, Brandon Green, replacing Daniel Montagna. As now Clayton Hodges steps into the box. He is, I don't know. How do you score? As he goes for the steal, and there's just nobody over there at second base.
Yep, and looks like Carson Shepard's going to take advantage of the mistake, slides into third, and he is definitely safe. Very opportunistic as the Mariners look like they fell asleep. I know it's starting to get a little dark out there, but you can't get sleepy on the Copperheads or we'll bite you.
Yeah, that is a mental error from the Mariners. There was just nobody over there. Carson Shepard heads up base running once again. I think he probably noticed that there was nobody covering, and nobody covered. And it squirted right into the outfield, and Seeker picked it up, couldn't get the throw over to third, and now Hodges has a chance to drive in a run potentially.
Chops it over to third base. Looks like there's a little fumbling of the ball, but it is recovered and made. The play is made. Voorhees looked like he might have almost picked up an error for a second, but he was able to recover and get it out to Von der Haar.
Man, Voorhees has a gun over there at third base. He can chuck it across the diamond. That's the second or third time tonight that we've seen Voorhees kind of get it and just absolutely unload a cannon over there at first base. I hope the first baseman over there has a protection in that glove, because I think Von der Haar is over there at first base. Hope he's got some padding.
He certainly knew. They might have to give him a catcher glove at this point.
Yeah, they might. As that was another missile courtesy of Manny Voorhees.
So that's out number 1 in the inning. Hodges goes down on the 5-3, and that'll bring on Kyle Ratliff, who has a pair of sacrifice flies and then a single, so trio of RBIs today. He's accounted for a lot of the runs alongside Trey Rucker, and hasn't been able to get on officially, but has been able to drive in runners. He had that time where he hit a single, then went on to second on the error, and then was out at third on the tag, trying to turn it into a 3-run hit. As we'll see the 1-1 pitch to Ratliff down low and hitting the edge of the strike zone for strike number 2 from Nap Schaefer. So with 1 runner on third base in Carson Shepard, the Copperheads need to at least bring Shepard home to try to cut into this lead. A 2-run shot would be even better. As we see the pitch skip across the ground, Green is able to cover it up.
Kyle Ratliff's been here before a few times tonight, a few times over the course of the season. And, of course, he's already stepped up 3 times already tonight. And now 2-2 here coming to him. He's got an opportunity to drive in a 4th run.
We'll see if he can do it. Knapshafer sets up on the mound with one runner on in this 7-5 game in favor of the Mariners. Delivers a pitch, swung on and missed. Ratliff goes down swinging, and that'll bring on Josh Steidl, the DH, as Knapshafer picks up a big out number 2 here in the top of the 7th inning. Copperheads down 7-5. They do have one runner on third in Carson Shepard, and if they want to win this game, I am going to guarantee that they're going to need to get Carson Shepard home somehow, some way.
Yeah, that's a big, big win there for Tim Knapshafer, getting that out on Kyle Ratliff, taking out the team's best hitter right there. And now Josh Steidl will step into the box. You know, another guy fully capable of tying this game up with one swing. We'll see what he could do here as he steps in, the lefty.
Yep, he's hit a couple of home runs out in the right field. He swings and misses there. So the count is 1-1 with 2 outs in the top of the 7th inning. So we saw good bit of action in that 6th inning, 2 runs apiece for both teams. So we got a decent score here, 7-5, higher scoring than a lot of these most recent matchups for the Copperheads as he fouls the 1-1 backwards. So Josh Steidl is now facing a 1-2 count with 2 outs. Knapshafer 1 strike away from closing out the inning and leaving a runner on.
Here in the top of the 7th, Copperheads are running out of opportunities. That is, you know, now that they worked so hard to get back into it, give up a couple runs in the last inning, we're able to keep the game alive. But now, you know, you're only going to have 2 more frames to get those runs back. Could be a huge missed opportunity.
The 1-2 pitch to Steidl skips across the ground. So it's 2-2 now for Josh Steidl, who on the day has a interference out, rare one, a fly out, and then also a hit by pitch. And he was able to come around for a home run, or for a run, courtesy of an RBI from Trey Rucker. The 2-2, it's swung on, it's laced right down Broadway out into center field. That's going to drive in Shepard. It's a 7-6 game here in Salina. Copperheads just need one more run to tie it up, but that certainly does help.
Josh Steidl delivers when Kyle Ratliff doesn't quite step up for the first time in this game. Josh Steidl is the man to step up and deliver. And it is a 1-run game. And as you said, that is so huge. You know, as we were just talking about being able to take advantage of opportunities, something the Copperheads weren't able to do last night against Xenia, even though they won. Tonight, they are taking advantage.
First pitch to Maverick Stallings in for a strike, as Stallings had a ground out and a fly out and was started off a rough start, but then he got a single in the 6th inning to get on, and his run was very important. It was the tying run in the 6th inning until the lead was taken back by the Mariners in the bottom of the 6th, and he swings and misses there for strike number 2 with 1 runner on. It's a 7-6 ball game here at Montgomery Field. Copperheads and Mariners in their 5th game of the season. It'll be the last one, and it skips across the ground. Green fields it and is able to get it back out. Green, a shorter catcher at 5'7", and we saw pass balls be an issue for some pitchers on this Mariners squad in that 3rd matchup between these two teams, where the Copperheads won 6-2. So Knapshafer sets, trying to get out of the inning, and we'll see the 1-2 on its way. The 1-2 pitch, down low, no swing there from Stallings, showing some good discipline, and the count stays 2-2, or is made 2-2.
Yeah, we saw from Steidl on the last at-bat, he was also one to lay off those pitches, and then he found his pitch. You know, we talked about it a couple innings ago when Trey Rucker had the opportunity to get those couple runs home. I told him, wait for your pitch, and again, he must have been listening to me up here because he took a really good pitch high, and then it was able to find his pitch low to get the RBI.
So Maverick Stallings goes down swinging after missing on that 1-2 pitch. So it'll be Stallings going down on the out. But that retires the side, but not before the Copperheads could put up 1 run. It was Josh Steidl picking up his first RBI of the day, driving in Carson Shepard for his 3rd run of the day, as the Copperheads are only down by 1 going into the bottom of the 7th, but they'll need great pitching from Jared Oakes throughout if they're going to want to take this game on the road. You're listening to Southern Ohio Copperheads Baseball on YouTube. It's the bottom of the 7th inning here at Montgomery Field. We're going right into the action as we see the first pitch from Jared Oaks get past the leadoff batter here for the Mariners and Starrett. Starrett has a strikeout and out on the 3rd inning and also out in the 5th inning. So he always seems to be the guy that the side retires on, and sometimes you don't mark off what happens during that play as you're calling it, and we see a swing and miss there for strike number 2. So now it's 0-2 for Starrett. Copperheads down 6-7 here on the row with nobody out in the bottom of the 7th inning. Jared Oaks, the 3rd pitcher of the day after the Copperheads have had a couple of consecutive games where they've only used a few pitchers. We're now seeing 3 in this game.
Yeah, I mean, you can't have the amazing pitching output every time, of course. But, you know, it hasn't been, aside really from the 1st inning.
See a drive into shallow left field over the head of Maverick Stallings and out into left field where Clayton Hodges fields it. But it will be a single for Starrett, getting the inning started for the Grand Lake Mariners. Now that'll bring on Clark. Clark with a walk as well as a single and a fly out, so 1 for 2. And then they'd score a run. That run ended up taking the lead back in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Yeah, as I was saying, aside from the 1st inning from Maudsley, really a lot of solid pitching. I would say that Herner was pretty unlucky to give up a couple runs. You know, the Carson Shepard error, and then the single right after. You know, didn't do him any favors. But you know, Oaks gets the big out to strand the bases loaded, and you know now he's working here. 9 or 10 pitches in, I should say.
Pitch number 10 was a little too high, so now the count is 2-0 in this 7-6 game. Copperheads trail by just 1 run. 2 more chances to bat today, as we'll see a pop fly high up into left field. It looks like Maverick Stallings calls it, makes the catch. And isn't it great that the sun is down, Ethan? Don't have to even worry about trying to find that ball through the sun.
I mean, that was pretty much the exact same spot, I think, where that the second kind of bloop single that the Mariners had earlier in this one fell. And in that one, I think both Jordan Long, who's over there at 3rd, and Maverick Stallings just couldn't really see where the ball ended up. This time, Stallings, with, you know, now that the sun is past a point where it could really be a factor, Stallings was able to get over there and make a fairly routine play in shallow left field.
So 1 down in the inning, and that'll bring on Danneman. Danneman with a strikeout, a flyout, and a single for his performance on the day. See the 1-0 pitch. Did he swing? They're going to say he did not swing. So it's 2-0 with 1 runner on, 1 out. Here at Montgomery Field, Copperheads trail 6-7. Looking to try to win game number 12 of the season. And if they win, they'll pass the Mariners in the standings. And now we see a chopper out to Maverick Stallings. He's able to get it. It's a 6-4-3. That's a double play for the Copperheads, and it could not have come at a better time as Maverick Stallings delivered it out to Carson Shepard at 2nd, who finished the job to Mitch Class at 1st. And now the Copperheads trail only by 1 and have a chance to tie it up or take the lead. Going into the top of the 8th inning, you're listening to Southern Ohio Copperhead Baseball on YouTube. We have a pitching change here in Montgomery Field, but before that happens, we're going to go over some of the scores going along right here in the GLSCO. So we have the Licking County Settlers up 18-10 right now with the Richmond Jazz. Lots of scores
right
there. Yeah, my goodness, almost a touchdown difference there. Maybe a touchdown 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
Got the Grand Lake Mariners up 7-6 in our game right here. You also got the Royal Oaks Leprechauns up 6-1 over Jetbox. 4-3 is the lead for the Ice Haulers over the Michigan Monarchs in the top of the ninth inning at Sports Force Park. What a name for a ballpark. And the Hamilton Joes defeated the Xenia Scouts 4-2. The Joes getting their winning ways back as they're now first in the league, and they'll be tied with the Licking County Settlers as Mitch Glass is the first batter up. He's now facing a 3-0 count as there's a new batter, or new pitcher, rather.
New pitcher is Donnie Goods. He's a guy that sometimes plays in the field, sometimes he pitches. Tonight he's pitching. Did not start in the lineup for the Mariners, but has come out of the bullpen tonight. And he's been fairly solid in relief. We'll see what he could do here. Has a 154 average at the plate when he does come up to bat. And he'll face Mitch Class here to start off the inning. Copperheads down 7-6. We'll see if they can get that run. Of course, they fought back. If you missed it, it was 5-1. They fought back to 5-5, and then right in the bottom of the sixth inning, the Mariners put up a 2-spot and got 7-5.
So Mitch Class goes down on strikes. It was a full count. He was up 3-0 in it, but then goes down swinging for the first strikeout of the day for Goods. So Donnie bringing the goods on that first strikeout there, and now he'll bring on Trey Rucker. Last time he was up had a double, a 2 RBI variety. Oh my, he should have had a home run and a 2 RBI double. It would have been one heck of a game for Trey Rucker. Would have been his best of the season, but Sam Seeker had other plans out in center field and robbed him of the home run. We also saw Hayden Christensen rob him of a home run as we see a chopper out the shortstop. Danneman fields it on 2 hops, delivers it out to Von der Haar, and that's going to be in time for out number 2. So it's a very quick 2 runners up, 2 runners down for the Copperheads. In the 8th inning, they trail 7-6 as they have 7 hits on the day. Mariners with 10, 2 errors apiece for both of these squads that are sitting at 6th and 7th, but that doesn't tell you the whole story in the GLSCL South, as it is a very competitive league. The separation between first and last is just 3.5 games. So every game will matter as Silva, with a very big at-bat, bunts it backwards for strike number 1.
Yeah, whenever I hear the name Hayden Christensen, the Star Wars nerd in me, just the ears pop up. Of course, Hayden Christensen, the actor who plays Anakin Skywalker, just reprised his role as Skywalker, or fans might call him Darth Vader, in Kenobi. Very, very cool to see him come back into his role and be so loved for his role. But not a common name at all. Hayden Christensen, not a name you hear every day. If it were like Tom Smith, maybe you'd hear that one every day. But Hayden Christensen's a very, very uncommon name. So to have that be the exact name, same spelling and all too, is pretty crazy.
It's pretty crazy to see that. And I always warn the fans not to underestimate his power.
Yeah.
And he'll try to have the high ground if he was a pitcher. Maybe the high mound if we wanted to really up the ante with the puns. But it is a 2-1 count to Sebastian Silva in this top of the 8th inning. Copperheads down 6-7. And we'll see a strike, 2-2 is now the count to Sebastian Silva, who has a duo of strikeouts as well as a flyout on the day. So Silva has struggled against this pitching staff of the Mariners, who are proving themselves quite formidable down the stretch. And the Copperheads break them. Silva gets out looking. Silva tried to take that pitch and was hoping it was going to be off the mark, but the umpire calls it a strikeout.
So real quick, before we go to the commercial, I'll give you one last shot at the trivia. So very quickly here, let me pull it up. Mookie Betts is 19th career multi-home run game out of the leadoff spot, tying which player from the Dominican Republic? Played left field and second base, played for the Yankees, won 2 rings with the Yankees, and played for the Cubs.
See, I'm not going to have answers for
See,
baseball
I was the
history.
same way. But see, this one, he's a recognizable enough name. It's Alfonso Soriano. So, a very, very prominent player, was a big part of those Yankee teams that won big. So, yeah, we'll Yeah, that's a trivia question for today. And I think the next time when it's you and Tim on the call, you got to switch it up.
Yeah, we'll definitely do some switching it up. Maybe give me some 4 questions from the last 2 years. I think that'll
Yeah.
help me out coming up. But again, great to be able to learn a little bit of baseball trivia and continue building my knowledge as I've been watching more and more documentaries
Love it.
and just starting
Love
to
it.
fall in love with the game more and more. A game where
America's
I used to go to
pastime.
the Clippers games a lot as a kid, but not having a major league team in my city, I think that definitely made a difference. One of my favorite sports rants is, of course, Columbus, the biggest city in Ohio, not getting a professional team higher than the Crew or the Blue Jackets. The Crew, really great organization, have won 2 championships, so very solid. And then the Blue Jackets have had mostly rough history, but they've had a few awesome things. It looks like we have a new pitcher on the mound. It's Josh Robinson from Jamestown, Ohio. We saw him a few times against the Zinga Scouts, and he'll try to put together a good game. Josh Robinson trying to do his thing for the Copperheads, who are down 6-7, and we'll see a new pitcher in the bottom of the 8th when we come back. You listen to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. We're at Montgomery Field for the start of the bottom of the 8th inning. It'll be Green hitting for the first time today for the Mariners, the catcher. Sending that 5'7". Just came in for Montana. Takes the second pitch for a ball from the new pitcher, Josh Robinson, for the Copperheads. Robinson, of course, making a few appearances, remembering most notably his Zinga Scouts appearance, where he got a win up there at Grady's Field. And he lives just a few minutes from Grady's Field, living in nearby Jamestown, about 15 minutes away, and had a whole bunch of fans. It made Grady's Field feel like a Copperheads home game. We'll see if he can be able to get a strike as we see the 3-0 pitch in for a strike. He does exactly that. It's 3-1 for Josh Robinson.
And Robinson, 10 innings pitched. He's got 6 strikeouts on the year. So see if he can add to that here. Down 3-1 in the count.
3-1 to Green. It's going to be chopped over in between Stallings, and it does get past him. And out to left field for Hodges. It's a single for Green coming through for his squad when they needed him most. Brandon Green from Southern University, representing some of the HBCU schools out here, as there are players from Morehouse, Southern, as well as Arkansas Pine Bluff in the league. So a lot of historically black colleges and universities representation here in the GLSCL. As that'll bring on the next batter, the top of the order, the ever so dangerous, as we found out time and time again, Adam Ebling.
Yeah, now it's about damage limitation here for the Copperheads. You want to give your offense a chance. Just a chance is all you need. Right now it is a 1-run game, but if the Mariners have had a couple opportunities, especially, you think back to 2 innings ago where they had the bases loaded, the Copperheads have to be careful here because if they, as Icarus says, if you fly too close to the sun, you're going to get burnt. They've flown pretty close to the sun here a couple times. They're kind of trying to get burnt here.
Well, Ethan, it's a good thing the sun is going down, isn't it? As it's a 1-1 count now to Ebling.
Always on his toes, Sedric Granger.
Always, always, always. We also got to keep our fans on their toes with all these competitive games. We saw sudden death yesterday, and then we saw a walk-off as well yesterday. So, I mean, you're just getting great games. Even lights-out performances in the case of the Jazz, as we saw 11 strikeouts, yes, 11 from Colin Ryan against the Richmond Jazz. And that 4-0 win where the lights went out in Bob Ryan Stadium in the sixth inning.
Lights out for a few reasons.
The 2-1 is going to be chopped over to Stallings, who gets it 6, 4, 3. What about that? A third double play for the Southern Ohio Copperheads today, as they have just been on a roll with fielding. We've seen a couple of errors, a couple of mistakes, but those double plays have been nothing short of terrific.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm talking about limiting opportunities and keeping your team in the ball game. He got good pitch from Robinson, gets the ground ball that he wanted, he needed. Stallings, simple flip over to Shepard, and Class covering it first. And the Copperheads get a big-time double play, and they're 1 out away from potentially going to the top of the ninth with a real shot in this ball game.
They'll have to do that against one of the leaders of the team. When we asked Coach Perez who the leaders on the squads were, Sam Seeker was one of the guys that he named. Seeker has a single, hit into a double play, a fly out, and reached on an error on the day, as the 1-0 pitch from Robinson is outside for ball number 2. So Copperheads trail 7-6 with 2 down in the bottom of the 8th inning. Out here in Salina, 3 hours away from the comfy, cozy home of Bob Ryan Stadium. We're out here in Montgomery Field. A beautiful evening, about 70 degrees. This was the pop fly up in a foul territory. Will Long have a chance at third base? No, it does go out over the fence. But at least it's the good situation of it going out on the fence. So it is a strike, so the count is 2-1 for the new pitcher, Josh Robinson. Looking to try to pick up another win. We've seen him pick up a win against Xenia. Can he potentially pick up a win today? It'll take some help from the Copperheads bats. See Robinson pitching in the bottom of the 8th inning, delivers that one to Sam Seeker for a ball. So the count is 3-1 with 2 outs in the inning. And we want to give a special shout out and thank you to the 40 viewers that are currently watching right now. We've had a couple more than that over this whole span. If we do a nice little update here, 42 currently, 196 overall. We just want to say thank you for spending your Saturday night with us, with Ethan and I. We've had a great time here traveling. We may be tired, but we're never too tired for Copperheads baseball, as we'll see a walk there for Sam Seeker. So it'll be 1 runner on, 2 outs, 7-6 deficit for the Copperheads. And that'll bring on the next batter in Voorhees.
Yeah, Cedric, it's always a pleasure to be able to come on these calls. Yesterday was awesome. Today has also been great. And, it's just, it's great to be able to get opportunities, great to be able to call games, what I love. And, we've been able to call another great one here after yesterday, just a nail-biter against the Scouts. When I tell you that the knot in my stomach was the tension was just racked up. I described it as like a dam of pressure that just wouldn't break. And I feel like, honestly, the Seeker kind of makes his way over to second. I think no attempt really to cover the steal there. I think that, honestly, in that game, the dam, I don't think it was going to break. I think if we played extras, they would have been playing extras for a couple more innings at least.
Guaranteed. No wonder a coach decided to choose defense and put his trust in Adam Beery. Now today he's putting his trust in Josh Robinson, as we'll see the first pitch here to Voorhees. And it's going to be a deep drive into center field. Kyle Ratliff trying to go after it, but that ball is going to go over the wall. And that's a home run at a perfect time for the Mariners. And that's a heartbreaker for the Copperheads. Now they are down 9-6, as that's a 2-run shot in the 8th inning. The Copperheads have been susceptible to 2-run homers in the 8th inning. We saw it against the Cincinnati Steam with Hayden Christensen coming up with a 2-run shot in that game. And now we see a 2-run shot from Voorhees coming through for his squad, his 3rd run of the day. And now the Copperheads are down 9-6 here in Salina.
Yeah, definitely your MVP most likely, at least on the bats for the Mariners. We had that double in the 1st inning, and now the 2-run home run along with another single. So, if by some crazy chance he gets back up to the plate, he'll need a triple for the cycle. So, Grand Lake Mariners now lead 9-6 here against the Copperheads, and they'll need a pretty massive effort here in the bottom half of the inning to make up the ground.
Well, Ethan, the word impossible says I'm possible, and we'll see if the Copperheads can form any of a comeback. But first, they're going to need to get that 3rd out of the inning The 2-out rallies have killed them, as we have the new batter Vonderhaar taking the second strike there. So it's now 1-2 to Vonderhaar. Voorhees once again picking up a home run to left center field. And that scored Sam Seeker. So that's how we're at a 9-6 game, 12 hits for the Mariners, 7 hits for the Copperheads. Copperheads will get a chance to go up to bat in the top of the 9th inning. But if they can't tie the game or take the lead, it won't be continuing. And now they'll have their chances. If Josh Robinson does get out of the inning, ending it with a strike as Vonderhaar goes down swinging, but not before the Copperheads could give up 2 runs. That home run being the second one of the day for the Mariners, as they've shown they've had some power in their bats. And with this being a smaller field than Bobberin Stadium, expect to see maybe a few more home runs, but it's just been Sam Seeker being able to prevent the Copperheads runs. And the runs that the Mariners have gotten have just cleared the fence so far that Trey Rucker, Kyle Riley can't really do much about it. So very tough fortune for the Copperheads. But when we come back, we'll get into the top of the 9th, and it's put up or shut up time for the Southern Ohio Copperheads. We'll see if they can make a comeback. You're listening to Southern Ohio Copperhead Baseball on YouTube. We've made it to the top of the 9th inning here at Montgomery Field, and it's make or break time, crunch time or clutch time or whatever you want to call it. It'll be Jordan Long, Carson Shepard, Clayton Hodges due up in this inning. Kyle Ratliff right behind them. Ratliff hit a walk-off grand slam to beat the Mariners before. So if all 3 of these leading runners can get on, it could create a repeat situation. We've seen history repeat itself many of times throughout this season. Can it repeat again for the Southern Ohio Copperheads? We'll see. Jordan Long took the first pitch, fouled. So now the count is 0-1 as we have a new pitcher on the mound.
Yeah, it's Ethan Bobo on the mound here. His season stats of 5.87 ERA and 7.2 innings of work, but he does have 13 strikeouts in those innings. So look for a couple Ks from him here, and he's got some heat there as he goes right down Main Street for the strikeout on that one.
Yep, Bobo picks up the strikeout as he gets Jordan Long swinging. And now Bobo already showing that he is a pretty potent arm there, so he can throw it pretty fast. He got some heat.
That was a heater.
Got to get the radar gun back up here. Shout out to Grandpa Hodges for giving us the radar gun. We'll keep it at Bobberin Stadium for safekeeping. And now that'll bring on Carson Shepard. He has a trio of runs. We'll need him to get a 4th if the Copperheads want to stay alive. He takes the pitch for a strike as it's currently an immaculate inning for Bobo. He has 4 pitches, 4 strikeouts. We've seen an immaculate inning on the season with Colin Ryan, who did the first 12 pitches of the game as all strikes.
That's extremely impressive. There's the ball.
Yep, I think we intentionally jinxed it right here as maybe we can work the jinxes into our favor. We have a lot of power with the announcers jinx. Of course, Tim will tell you all about it. Shout out to Tim Hanna. Know you're listening right now. Glad to have you listening to the stream as we'll have the 1-1 pitch on its way. Bobo delivers. It's going to be chopped fouled for strike number 2 for Carson Shepard, as this is a 9-6 game in the top of the 9th inning. Copperheads trail once again by 3. Gave a 2-run homer, which was backbreaking when there was 2 outs in the inning, and they had a chance to get out of there with only a 1-run deficit. And now it just makes it a lot more complicated here for the Copperheads to try to come back from a 3-run lead. We'll see if they can do it, as Bobo thinks the opposite, trying to close. He throws with his right-handed pitch that chops foul once again. So the count is 1-2, 1 out, 9-6 ball game in the top of the 9th inning. Copperheads don't tie it up or don't take the lead. This game will be over at Montgomery Field.
Yeah, real late swing there from Carson Shepard. Just literally the definition of staying alive on that one. Or he was gone. I think that was right down the middle. And he just about got on it to stay alive.
Here comes the 1-2, and it goes against the ground. And that's going to be ball 2. So now the pressure starts to build as it's a 2-2 count. Carson Shepard has got on a trio of times, 2 walks, a double, and a ground out. And he'll look to try to go 4 for 5 for the man at the top of the order. As Bobo sets, delivers the pitch outside. That's ball number 3. So now the count is full. Heck of a job by Carson Shepard, continuing to stay alive in this count. We'll see if he can either force the walk or will he strike out.
He's already walked twice tonight.
Bobo's pitch is delivered, and it is off the mark. That's ball number 4. Carson Shepard will take his base, so that will bring up Clayton Hodges with Kyle Ratliff on deck.
Exactly what you want if you're the Copperheads. All you need to get going is just to get that runner on. And, of course, Jordan Long strikes out, can't get it done. Carson Shepard takes his 3rd walk of the game, so he's gotten on base 4 out of his 5 plate appearances. And now Clayton Hodges with an opportunity to potentially make things interesting here with Kyle Ratliff on deck.
The lights are bright here at Montgomery Field, and we'll see what Hodges can do stepping up to the plate. He takes strike number 1 from Bobo, as there's 1 out, 1 runner on. That runner is number 1, Carson Shepard, and it's a 9-6 lead for the Grand Lake Mariners, trying to close the game and solidify their spot at 6th place, as the Copperheads are nipping at them in the standings, trying to take it over and get out of the basement. The 0-1 pitch on its way from Bobo as he sets on the mound and does a pickoff attempt there. Carson Shepard slides back safely. So we'll hold our horses a little bit.
So Ethan Bobo from Marietta, but not the Marietta you might think. Not Marietta, Ohio, Marietta, Georgia.
Just like the broadcaster for the Grand Lake Mariners, Michael, he's from Athens, but not Athens, Ohio. Athens, Georgia with his college. The Georgia Bulldogs winning the football championship. Puts his fist in the air there to acknowledge us. We acknowledge him and his great thing he's doing with the broadcasting. Of course, Athens, Ohio, Superior. The 1-1. It's in for a strike. A little bit of a later call there from the umpire. And that's going to put the count at 1-2 with 1 out, 1 runner on.
Did not like that call. He's got his hands on his head over there.
I don't like that call either, Ethan. I mean,
he's a disbelief over there. The batting, the protective helmet he's got as the 3rd base coach over there. He is bewildered at that one. I think that might be what Hodges is asking here. You know, hey, Blue, how'd you call that one? No, when we talked to all these players, they have dialogues with these umpires. Most of the umpires are pretty receptive to conversations. So, as long as you're not being disrespectful or rude, you can ask them, hey, was that low? We talked to Adam Beery last night, and, he was talking about how he talks to the umpire, and he's like, hey, how far outside was I? Or, how close was I? And, these umpires are usually fairly receptive to players talking, as long as you're not, rude or disrespectful.
Yeah, it can really work to your advantage to be able to.
Absolutely.
It's all a big part of knowing your opponent. Sometimes the umpire can work against you or be on your side. You never know, as we see the pitch go outside for ball number 2. So it's 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out in the top of the 9th inning. Copperheads trail 6-9 against the Grand Lake Mariners here at Montgomery Field. Bobo sets up, delivers the pitch, and it's going to be swung on. It's going to be down for a base hit. Copperheads advance each of their runners. Hodges the first, Shepard the second, and that'll bring on Kyle Ratliff. Ratliff has had multiple times this season where he's hit game winners. This time he can try to tie it up, and he'll have 2 runners on to work with. And in late games, it's been all Kyle Ratliff. We even mentioned yesterday when he hit the walk-off home run, we said his future was so bright, we'll need sunglasses up in the press box. And we'll see if he can come through again. He'll be working against Bobo with 2 runners on, 1 out. And so take a little break there to talk to Coach TJ Lanning. We'll see what we see. Any base hit will really help, but he's been great in these late innings, as we saw last game in the 7th inning. He had a home run and also a big single. So Hodges picked up a single. That's how he's on first. Shepard walked, and now he advanced to second off of the single. And now we have Kyle Ratliff, who's up. First pitch to Ratliff, swung on and missed. Big swing there. So now the count is 0-1 with 1 out in this 9-6 game. Copperheads with 2 runners on, and Kyle Ratliff up to bat.
See, last night we talked to Kyle Ratliff. He talked about selfish and unselfish swings. I think he should go for the selfish swing here. Try and knock it out of the park. But even if he doesn't knock it out of the park, any sort of fly ball might advance the runners, which could be huge.
And they're going to get Carson Shepard back to second as they look like they tried to pick him off there as the pitch was off the mark for a ball. So the count is 1-1 with 1 out. Top of the 9th inning, 9-6 game in favor of the Mariners. Copperheads trying to tie it up. They can't tie it up or take the lead. It'll be game over. Bobo pitching his first inning, trying to close the game for his squad and pick up the save as the ball skids across the ground outside for ball number 2. Count is 2-1, 1 out. 9-6 is the score. Copperheads on the road at Montgomery Field trying to win their 4th game against the Grand Lake Mariners on the season. They won the first, lost the second, and then won 2 straight, trying to make it 3 straight. As Bobo sets, looks back at Shepard on second to keep him honest, and then takes a break as we see a timeout. Again, the count is 2-1 with 2 runners on. Carson Shepard is the man on second. Clayton Hodges, the man on first. As you can see, the suspense start to build in the stadium.
Yeah, Kyle Ratliff's poise in the box is so great. He's so calm and collected, but then he could just unleash that power.
The 2-1, and it looks like it's off the mark once again. So now it's ball number 3, a good hitter's count for Kyle Ratliff. We'll see if we see a big swing, or if the Mariners watch some film, do they even pitch it? They still have Josh Steidl to deal with in the back as well, who is on deck.
Yeah, anything over the plate here, you know he's swinging at it.
So it's a 3-1 count. It's the inverse of the jersey number of Bobo, and he decides to get off the plate there to prevent the runner, Carson Shepard, as some mind games going on at the plate, but also mind games going right behind the back of Bobo as well. All things you got to account for as a closing pitcher late in the game, as you can start feeling the pressure. The pitch. And it's going to be a drive. It's down for a base hit. Kyle Ratliff delivers. Runner around third. He's going home. It's Carson Shepard, and he's safe at the plate. Kyle Ratliff picks up not his first, not his second, not his third, but his 4th RBI of the day. It's a 9-7 game here in the top of the 9th with only 1 down and 2 runners on.
This game is not quite over, Sedric. This team just does not go down without a fight. They refuse, and now I think we're going to see a pinch hitter here, which is real interesting. You know, Josh Steidl's a guy who packs a lot of power, but I think it's going to be number 26, Diego Ortiz, who's going to come up to the plate here. The UAB from Puerto Rico, UAB product. We'll see what he could do here in a big-time spot.
See if Diego Ortiz can come through as he swings and missed on the first pitch from Bobo. And that's strike number 1. It's a 7-9 game with 2 runners on. Ortiz could potentially be the winning run if he's able to get around Ratliff and Hodges on. And now we see another strike, as that was a perfect pitch from Bobo, hitting the glove of green with some velocity. So now with 1 out in the top of the 9th inning, it's a 9-7 lead for the Mariners. Copperheads with 2 runners on, trying to stage the rally and try to get a comeback. Even if they do come back, the Mariners will have 1 more chance to bat. Copperheads, this is their last. And that pitch is up high. Good work from Ortiz. Good eye. Good discipline not to swing in that situation. Now the count is 1-2, especially when you have these pitcher's counts, they might throw something at you and try to get you to chase it. He did a good job not falling for the cheese. The 1-2 is outside. Now it's ball number 2. So it's 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. And a game with a lot of energy and a lot of passion.
You got to feel like the switch has to do with the side of the plate. Josh Seidel is a left-hander. I guess he wanted the right or the righty on righty matchup.
And they got him looking. Bobo delivers the strikeout when his team needed him most. That's out number 2. And that'll bring on Maverick Stallings. And now this game rests on Maverick Stallings. As on the day, Stallings does have a hit. He did hit that single in the 6th inning and did score a run. And he'll have to come through as Kyle Ratliff and Clayton Hodges are on for the Copperheads. It's a 9-7 game. Copperheads trying to come back. They were down by as many as 4 runs. They were able to tie it up 5-5 at one point. And then a couple of good hits by the Mariners late in the game is how we have it at a 9-7 game. Copperheads already put up 1 run in the inning. Carson Shepard coming around for his 4th time of the day off of an RBI single from Kyle Ratliff, which is also his 4th of the day. And now we see the first pitch to Stallings, and it's in for a strike. No swing there from Stallings. And now the Copperheads just 2 strikes away. They're going to have to try to stay alive, find a 2-out rally. They have to search within themselves, see if they can find that extra gear. Bobo sets in his stance, looks backwards, looks forwards, delivers the pitch, and a big swing and miss from Stallings. Now it's 2 strikes, 2 outs, top of the 9th inning. Copperheads down 9-7.
Something to keep in mind here, Bam Thomas in the on-deck circle. So if Stallings can get on it, he'll give Bam the chance to potentially get something. But right now, Stallings in trouble, down 0-2.
It's the question, the 0-2 pitch. And now it's going to be chopped over into the middle of the field. Can they able to get there? Stallings, it's going to be a close call, and he's safe! Stallings is safe! Oh my, Ethan, I thought he was out for a second. They could have had the game over, but Stallings ran with everything he had. He showed he got that fight.
The ball hit the floor. I think they dropped the ball. I think the first baseman over there, I think Vonderhaar just dropped it. I think the throw was in time, and I saw the ball on the floor. So now the bases are loaded for Bam Thomas here. Pinch hitting for Mitch Klass. He has the chance to potentially do a world of hurt here to the Grand Lake Mariners.
He sure can, Ethan. He has a homer.
Might just tie the baseball game.
He has a homer on the season. We can't forget that. It was out in Richmond, and we'll see if Bam Thomas can come through. It's a big moment, swing and miss. 4 strike number 1. Maverick Stallings got to first on
Heck
the
of an effort by him.
E3.
Running it out. You always run it out. That's what they teach kids from a young age to always finish plays. And Maverick Stallings, it might be a routine ground out for some, but he runs it out and keeps the game alive.
So Ortiz went down on strikes. Stallings went down or got to first on the error. Ratliff has advanced to second. Hodges to third. And now we're sitting in a situation where there's 2 strikes, 2 outs to Ashton Bam Thomas. Bobo trying to close out the game for his squad and pick up the save. Came in up 3 as it's a 9-7 game. Bam Thomas, the fate of the Copperheads rests on you, and he fouls it off as the tension continues to build. The drama continues to increase here at Montgomery Field. Count is still 0-2, 2 outs. Top of the 9th inning, Copperheads down by just 2 with the bases loaded.
Bam, just about staying alive in that one, but now he's in an uphill battle here. Seems like Bobo has his number on this one. He blew 2 by him, and then that one was very close to being strike 3.
So Bobo takes his time. He rests. He gets his decision there from Green and then decides to take a small timeout. And now we'll see if they switch up the pitch. Gets his sign. And we'll see if Bobo will like it.
Trey Rucker in the on-deck circle if Bam Thomas can get something here.
So we'll see the 0-2 pitch for the Mariners. Bobo sets, delivers his pitch. It's up high for ball number 1. So the count is 1-2 with 2 outs in the top of the 9th inning. Copperheads with the bases loaded. They have Hodges, Rucker, and Stallings on. Bobo is the pitcher for the Mariners. Bam Thomas, the batter for the Copperheads. It's a 1-2 count. Here's the pitch, and it's swung on and missed. And that is the game ender as the Copperheads go down 9-7 on the road against the Grand Lake Mariners as Bobo was able to come through in the clutch for his team. Copperheads fall on the road against the Mariners, but nevertheless win the series 3-2 over the Grand Lake Mariners. It can be a very, very important tiebreaker, but to get to that point, the Copperheads are going to need to stack some more wins as the 4-game win streak is officially over, Ethan.
Once again, just a good fight from this team. They never go down easy. They always, put up a fight until the last swing. Tough at bat there for Bam Thomas. Ethan Bobo, all credit to him, after giving up, the error there right there. And in the end, the mistake in the bottom of the 8th inning there to give up that home run to Manny Voorhees ended up being the decider. So the Copperheads, again, they'll take the positive from this one. The offense came alive once again. But, it's the same sort of problems that they've had over the course of the year where they can't quite put together a full performance. They've gotten good performances out of their pitching staff, and the offense has struggled. Tonight, it was the offense that got going, but the pitching staff struggled at times, and the Grand Lake Mariners run out winners in this one, 9-7.
Yep, it was a hard-fought game, and these two rivals have had many hard-fought games. The last time the Copperheads, though, were at the Grand Lake Mariners, it was an 11-1 loss. Much, much better performance here today, but it was not enough. As we'll go over some of the scores from around the league as the Copperheads are now 11-15 on the season. They will fall back to 7th place by a little bit of a margin. And now the Mariners move up a little bit and kind of solidify themselves as a team on the edge of that playoff bubble there, as the top 2 teams will get there. As Licking County Settlers, they end up getting the win over the Jazz 18-10 as they're going to keep themselves at first place. The Hamilton Joes will also keep themselves at 2nd place with a win over the Xenia Scouts, who are starting to backslide now after the Scouts were in first place. They are now falling backwards and falling down the standings. So it's a type of season where things can change in an instant. The Copperheads, though, they had a shot to be able to move out of the basement, move out of last place, get really into that mix, but they just fell short here on the road.
And now you know what they have to do? They have to respond. This is a team that has faced a lot this season, that has gone through a lot of ups, and it's going to feel like a down, but they really put up a good fight tonight, and I think they could take a lot of positives from tonight's game. And, now that they are on the road again, I believe, tomorrow, or maybe they have an off day. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, it's on the road tomorrow. We got the Hamilton Joes, so it's not going to be an easy out tomorrow.
Another tough team to play against. The Joes are a talented squad near the top of the standings. But the Copperheads are going to have to, dust themselves off and go again because they can't put the heads down. You can't slack off because this team, if they're going to try and run and make a run into the playoffs, they have to be pretty much perfect from here on out.
They sure will be, and we'll see if the Copperheads can do that, as they'll have matchups against the Joes and also a doubleheader against the Licking County Settlers coming up in the next 2 days. So 3 games in 2 days against the 1st and 2nd place teams in the division. That's no easy task. We'll see if the Copperheads can at least try to take 1, maybe 2 in that series, or who knows, maybe all 3. And although the Copperheads fell today, there still are some bright spots, of course. We had some really good statistics. We had Carson Shepard have 4 runs on the day, which is fantastic. Also, Ratliff with 4 RBIs on the day. So those were definitely some of the standouts of the game today. And pitching, we saw a whole bevy of pitchers today for the Copperheads. We saw Maudsley, we saw Herner, we saw Oaks, and we saw Robinson. And just gave up a few too many hits together as a staff. So the Copperheads will look to continue to improve that as we go on. So we'll take a little break. We're going to have Carson Shepard and Coach TJ Lanning coming up with us to have an interview here as the Copperheads once again fall to the Grand Lake Mariners 7-9 on the road.
Welcome back inside the broadcast booth. I'm Ethan Sargeant, and I'm now joined by Carson Shepard. Just Carson, take me through that last inning. You worked a walk, and then what's going through your mind as you see the bases get loaded and just come up short in the end?
Well, we were down 2-3 runs there, so obviously with me being on base, my main goal was just to not get picked off, make sure I'm doing everything I can the right way, and then obviously as we got to the bases loaded. I don't know about the team, but I thought we had a pretty good chance of winning. I thought Kyle, arguably our best hitter, was up with the bases loaded, and I thought, maybe he could pull through for a grand slam, but he didn't. But you can't ask that out of people, so.
Yeah, we were believing up here too. Trust me. So 3 walks today. What goes through when you're in the box and you're in those sort of positions where you're ready to take a walk? What kind of goes through? How do you go through the steps as a hitter of, when a pitch is coming in? Like, do I swing? Do I take? What goes through your mind?
Right. Well, recently I've just been seeing the ball extra well. I mean, what's going through my head is just seeing the pitch, if it's strike, ball, nothing else to it. But lately I've been able to figure out the umpire's strike zone and understand when a ball is going to be for a strike and when it's not. And so it's going real well for me.
Yeah, and then next thing, so you had 4 runs. You did have 4 runs. And Kyle Ratliff drove you in 3 times.
Yes, sir.
Or actually, no, I think he drove you in all 4 times, which is pretty impressive. What can you say about that guy? Because he just mashes baseballs.
Yes, he does.
He's just dominant out there. Then, kind of last thing, what can you say about just the fight of the team in general? You guys were down a bunch of times in this game, kind of clawed back almost every time, and then even right at the end, till the very last pitch, you guys were in it. What can you just say about the fight, the spirit, the character that this team brings?
Well, I can say in the last couple of weeks we've gotten really, really close. We are forming that real brotherhood of a team now, where we trust each other. Where if somebody's on base, we know that the person behind us is going to come up with a clutch hit for us. And I think that's what is excelling our team right now, where we're trusting each other to get hits when we need them. We're trusting them to play defense when we need them, and we're trusting pitchers to throw strikes when we need them to keep us in ball games, and that's helping out a lot.
All right. Well, thank you, Carson. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
When we come back, we will be joined by Copperheads head coach TJ Lanning. Welcome back inside the broadcast booth. I'm Ethan Sargeant, and I'm now joined by Copperheads head coach TJ Lanning. TJ, that last inning, so close. You guys stuck around all game. What can you say about the fight of the team?
Yeah, we got fight. We've shown in the past few weeks that we can hang with anybody, knocking off the number 1 team last night and, almost pulling away with I think they're number 4 right now. So, almost pulled away with the number 4 team, Sam didn't have his best start today, but he stuck in it after that first inning and then did what he needed to do to get the rest of the outs. The big thing that hurt us today was that 1 or 2 errors that we had. I think we've been playing some very good ball that our errors have not cost us ball games, but today I think it really did.
Yeah, so in that last inning, Josh Steidl came out. Diego Ortiz came in for the pinch hit. What was the decision, the thought behind that decision?
Yeah, Josh got banged up on the hit by pitch, so he took one off the arm that wasn't feeling pretty good in the elbow. So I wanted to get a fresh bat in there that's a little bit healthier than taking one off the elbow at probably 88, 89. So that was the thought process behind that.
Got it. So the pitching, kind of the first game in a few games where you guys don't get like a perfect outing from you've had 3 pretty spotless games in a row, and then tonight it wasn't perfect. It was pretty solid though. What can you say about really Sam fighting back after that first inning, as you mentioned, and then the rest of the guys fighting in there, Dylan, Josh, the rest of them?
Yeah, no, Dylan came in, did what he needed to do, shut him down for a few innings. Oaks came in and slammed the door on the 2 innings that he came in, and then Robinson came in. Unfortunately, the kid dug a ball out the ground, and it went out for a home run. Tonight the wind was blowing out like crazy. So, the kid golfed it out of here. There's nothing you can do about it. It was a perfect pitch that he made, and the wind helped him out a little bit. Yeah. But they did their jobs. They did what they needed to do to put us in a situation to win a ball game.
Yeah, and then on the other side of the baseball, the hitting tonight, did the offense, after last night it was a little bit quieter. Tonight it showed up in a big way. Carson Shepard, we just talked to him. He had 4 runs. Kyle Ratliff with a handful of RBIs. What can you say about the approach that these guys are taking in the box tonight, how it changed how it maybe changed a little bit from the mentality from last night and, where it went right in the box tonight?
Yeah, no, I told him just stay up the middle, stay true, be on time. I think we're spinning off way too much and we're giving the outside corner up way too much. We need to start attacking the outside corner a little bit more and driving balls to right center. But that was the approach tonight, to stay up the middle and stay right center, true to it. Some guys had some pull hits, but they're in their mind. We tricked their minds to say they're staying up the middle now that they're not pulling off balls.
Yeah, and then last thing, looking ahead to tomorrow, you guys are going to head to Hamilton to take on the Joes. What are you expecting to see in that game?
A fight. That's all I can say, a fight. They're number 1 team right now in the division. We have no problem knocking off number 1 teams right now, as we can see in the past few nights. So we're going to go give it to Hamilton. We're going to try and come out with a dub from there.
Yeah, all right. Thank you, Coach.
Awesome, thank you.
Appreciated. For my broadcast partner, Sedric Granger, I've been Ethan Sargeant. It's been a pleasure to have you all inside the booth today. And we will see you guys. Sedric and Tim will be back with you tomorrow as the Copperheads head to Hamilton to